Aloha, good evening, football fans across the state of Utah. Welcome to Valhalla in the heart of the Grove. And this presentation of American Fork Football presented by Heidemann and Associates. Tonight, it's an all-region 3 showdown between American Fork and Pleasant Grove. As the battle cry sounds, Alexander Timoliv joined by Jake Hatch here tonight. Hatch, I turn to you. First thing I say is, here we are, two teams that are trying to get back on track before the playoffs. Yeah. What intrigues you the most about this matchup tonight?
Well, quite honestly, which team has more motivation? Obviously, because you mentioned both these teams trying to find some juice ahead of the playoffs. One team's 1-6, one team's 2-5. You got to find a way to jumpstart your season here and hopefully carry some momentum into the playoffs. And a win tonight could do that for either one of these squads.
American Fork won the coin toss, and they elected to defer their option until the second half, so the Vikes will get first crack at it here this evening. It is a slightly overcast night here at Pleasant Grove.
Beautiful night for football for October, I'll just say that.
It is, despite the fact it was 90 degrees earlier today.
It's cooled off nicely, that's the good news.
It has. Lewis Connect, the UVU soccer commit, set to kick off. We hope you're ready, folks. Off we go from Valhalla, and the kickoff will go into the end zone and out the back for a touchback.
No wonder he's a soccer commit. That was quite a boot, and he made it look easy. Like, here's the thing. I see a lot of kickers, and this is a random note. You see guys who really have to strain to really boot it. He made that look smooth.
I mean, here's the thing, Hatch, that I told Gavin Atkinson, my broadcast partner. Connect had a lot of offers, from UVU and the local schools and whatnot.
Sure.
But he also had offers from as far west as UC Davis, Santa Barbara, and Cal Poly.
All right.
And Long Beach State. Those are not slouch schools, by the way.
No, absolutely not. He's got a good leg on him, no doubt.
Josh Hofer, the quarterback, on 1st and 10. Swings it on the flat, and the pass is caught for about a 5 or 6 yard gain. Pass complete to Dayton Hansen. It's actually Nate Schroeder who is at quarterback tonight.
Yeah, nice positive game there on first down for Pleasant Grove. You and I had this Pleasant Grove team a couple weeks ago against Lone Peak, and the game was over by halftime because Lone Peak just thoroughly dominated them. I'm interested to see how the quarterback play holds up tonight for Pleasant Grove, because that was a big, big concern I had coming out of that last game.
Schroeder to throw on 2nd down, and the pass is caught, but not for a very long gain, to Brennan Houghton. And it'll bring up an early 3rd down and 4 here. No gain officially on the play.
Still very much 3rd and manageable here. The playbook should be wide open for Pleasant Grove offensively here.
See what Taylor Walkenhorst decides to draw up here on this 3rd and short. Temperature 79 degrees here in Pleasant Grove. There are some threatening clouds.
A few stray showers, you know.
Few stray showers around. Schroeder on 3rd down, throws, and a little miscommunication as he throws it into a crowd. And incomplete, and he'll bring up 4th down.
Yeah, if you notice, both those receivers ran the exact same route. That was a miscommunication. Taylor Walkenhorst down here barking at his guys, saying, you guys got to know better than this at this point in the season. And he's right. You're 7 games in. You can't have those mistakes where you're running the same route into the same zone.
Mason Anderson will punt it away. And Cade Wilkinson standing back on his, call it the 44. Anderson gets it away. It's an end-over-ender, and it is taken on the run by Wilkinson, and Wilkinson is going to get smothered by the pursuit at about the 45-yard line. Good coverage downfield by the Vikings.
Yeah, good special teams play there. I'm actually surprised Wilkinson never waited for a fair catch, because he had a Viking waiting for him to catch that ball.
So that will bring out David Gaisford in this American Fork offense for the first time here tonight. Again, Gaisford taking over for Dylan Story, and again, as we said, American Fork trying to find their rhythm on offense. A lot of departures from last year.
Correct.
Namely Jacob Beardley and Davis Andrews and all that. Gaisford, first play, handoff goes to Prince Afu, who loses his footing. He'll just dive forward to the midfield stripe.
Yeah, the tackle went to the grass gremlins there.
Yep, and they are officially going to mark him where he started the dive at the 48.
Yeah, the fun part about this is, you said American Fork, they're 2-5 to start the season, but Gaisford, he's had some monster performances this season despite the lackluster record. He has been slinging it all over the yard.
Which kind of surprises you with the way that they've been playing. That
sure,
it is a 2-5 record, but you have to think they've been going up against really, really good teams. Zafu takes the handoff, and he'll surge forward for about maybe 4.
Well, and there are coaches out there who will try and beef up their non-region schedules with, let's say, overmatched teams. That's not American Fork style. Aaron Beam, he goes and plays the best of the best because he believes iron sharpens iron. When you play the best, you get to be the best version of yourselves. I think he understood that this was a team and a season where it was going to be more of a rebuild year, probably for American Fork, but that didn't dissuade him at all from essentially lowering the competition level.
3rd down and 4 for American Fork, their first possession of the game. Gaisford from the shotgun, Afu with his left hip. They bring pressure off the edge. It's picked up. Gaisford throws it long for Mina, and he's got it. What a catch! Brought it down inside the 20. 101 coverage against Spencer Hafolka, best on best, and Mina wins that battle.
Yeah, Hafolka had great coverage there, but you know what? That ball was where the receiver was getting it or nobody was getting it. It was a great throw there by Gaisford, and like you mentioned, Alex, a really, really nice catch.
1st and 10 now from the 18-yard line for American Fork. Already knocking on the door, and we're barely 3 minutes into this game. Gaisford from the shotgun, hands off to Afu. Stutter step, goes to the right side, and he'll pick up about maybe 5 to that right side.
Nice QB counter there by American Fork, and Afu, it made it easy. He got 3 yards before he's even made contact downfield. It was a great job by that American Fork offensive line.
I apologize. That's actually Cash Tayese who made that last catch.
Okay.
Will Mina wears 7. I
Okay.
got my numbers
so
mixed up.
Tayese, okay. Well, I've heard a lot about Cash. I've seen like highlights of his, and he's a young buck, but he's got playmaking ability.
He's matched up one-on-one against Hafolka, bottom of your screen again. Gaisford from the shotgun, looking his direction, going to throw the corner out, and he's got him. And right on cue, he's into the end zone. Touchdown, AF.
Did you watch that route? That was a beauty of a route. Worked inside and then took it right to the outside. That was as easy a pitch and a catch for a touchdown as you're going to find. That was a beautifully run route.
Just 4 plays for AF to get into the end zone, and definitely a start I think head coach Aaron Beam would have liked to see. After, admittedly, Hatch, you know, I'm sure American Fork feels like they let one get away last week against nationally ranked Lone Peak, up 21-0 early.
They had them down, and they couldn't hold on.
Lewis does connect on the extra point and makes it 7-0 AF with 8 minutes and 24 seconds left in the first quarter. First drive, no problem for the Cavemen. They're already up 7-0. Beautiful shot there of the sunset into the background here in Pleasant Grove, Utah. Alexander Timop alongside Jay Catch on this Friday night. Want to remind you the Rewind Sports Network's coverage of American Fork football is presented by Heidemann & Associates, the law firm that goes above and beyond the call for the clients they serve. Call them today or visit them online for your free consultation. Cash Tayese into the end zone. Took just 5 plays for American Fork to get into the end zone. Lewis Connect now to kick off. And he does so right to the back of the end zone again.
Dude, that kid's got a leg. He makes it look easy. You're right.
He was kicking from 50. Just remind people, he was making field goals from 58 yards in warm-ups.
Okay, well there you go.
So
yeah, he's a weapon. There's no doubt.
He certainly is a weapon.
Best part, he's a southpaw kicker too. He's got left-footed.
So now out comes this offense again. Head coach Taylor Walkenhorst, of course, is the offensive coordinator for this Pleasant Grove team. First play is a handoff to the right side, and this is Christensen trying to get some space. Gets a block to the outside, breaks a couple of tackles, and finally gets wrangled out of bounds. Looked like he was going to go down in the backfield, but good job by the running back to stay on his feet for a 5-yard gain.
Well, I actually thought he was going to break it up the field a couple of times there, but he just kept shaking guys off. And ends up with 5 yards. It's a great pickup. Just ran about 35 to pick up the 5.
Finally brought down on the play by Nelson, the linebacker on the play, who plays as that, I call it the spear position, that nickelback position, that hybrid linebacker defensive back position. Schroeder to throw on second down, throws up the sideline, and this pass is into traffic and picked off. And it's picked off by Bourgeois.
Great job there by reading the quarterback's eyes, dropping into that zone there, and completely baited the quarterback into throwing that ball. Obviously, Coach Walkenhorst will be talking to his guy like, dude, you got to see that guy in that zone. You can't afford to throw it into coverage like that, because even if he had not picked it off, the cornerback was in coverage there too, and would have easily had a pass breakup, it appeared at least.
Pass was intended that time for Hansen up that far sideline. 1st and 10 now from the 42 for AF, trying to take advantage of the early turnover. Man comes back in motion. Matt Jensen now lines up as the single setback. They give it to him on the sweep to the left side, and he goes nowhere. Gets run over by a host of blue shirts. Led on the play by Derek Brinton, or rather by Alton Pine, the senior.
Yeah, great job there by PG reading that and gang tackling him. No gain on the play, so I actually thought American Fork would try and go deep. Obviously, with a quick turnaround, try and go deep on him. They decided to go more conservative, and a great job by the Pleasant Grove defense to stuff it.
I mean, you have Mina, and then you have Wilkinson lined up to that right side. Looks like Pleasant Grove almost lining up in a shell right now on 2nd down as Gaisford throws to the left side, and the pass is high and off the fingertips, intended that time for the tight end, number 80, Dean. Daxton Nuttall defending, and now a 3rd down here coming up for the Cavemen.
Yeah, that one just sailed a little bit on Gaisford there, and unfortunately couldn't get it down, or else it might have been a nice pickup, put him in 1st down yardage, had to be able to bring it in.
Another 3rd down coming up here for AF. They already faced one, and they converted it. Triple wide receiver lines up to the left, or right rather, and now we have a penalty flag. Looks like it's going to be offside against PG.
That's a tough call there, because obviously the quick count got him. I'm still of the opinion, Alex, at some point Utah high school football rules need to allow the defensive lineman to get back across and not have it automatically be the penalty. I opine on that all the time when I'm doing games like this. I just feel like it's one of those things that...
It's those little things, right?
It's like, you know what? Every other level of football allows them, if they jump, they can still get back in time. If you snap it, sure, they're offsides.
There's no such thing as offsides.
Sure.
There is offside.
Yeah, correct. Offside, I apologize.
Yes, wide open is Tayese. There he is again.
Yeah.
And he gets ripped out of bounds on a great call there offensively by Michael Hunsaker to get the 1st down. And so far, 82, the freshman, been the hot hand so far, Hatch.
Yeah. Well, Tayese, dude, he's an absolute baller. And you mentioned he's only a freshman, 14 years old. We've got a lot of young players in this Region 3. I did a Westlake game a couple weeks ago. They've got a couple of freshmen themselves.
Yes, they do.
They're future stars. I'm telling you, there's a lot of young talent in this Region 3 that's going to grow up over the next 2 and 3 years that you're going to really be able to enjoy if you watch this level of football.
Well, think about it. I mean, like even at Skyridge,
yes.
Lone Peak, and at AF, and like we said with AF with Tayese, there's a lot of good talent. Gaisford looking throws, sidearms it complete to Wilkinson, and then Wilkinson gets wrapped up immediately. Good coverage and pressure on the play there put on by Adam Wright on Wilkinson. Wilkinson only gets about maybe 4.
I'm still trying to figure out how Gaisford got that out there, because you mentioned it was a sidearm delivery. That was like a submarine pitcher type throw. It was crazy. A good reception all the same. 4 yards, looks like, on the pickup.
American Fork 2 for 2 on 3rd down so far. They converted a 3rd and 5 after a penalty, and then they converted a 3rd and 3, both to Cash Tayese. 2nd down from the 25. Gaisford looking, throw is batted up into the air, and it's picked off. Intercepted by Pleasant Grove. And still on his feet across midfield and brought down to the play. That is Maddox Webb, the junior. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that looked like it was Bo Goodman who got his hand on it, and a big play off the turnover to force another one for PG.
Well, obviously the deflection to get that up in the air is a great play in and of itself. To track that with offensive linemen breathing down your neck and bring that in for the interception, an incredible play there, and obviously a big break early on for Pleasant Grove here, because this game was trending towards American Fork seizing control there.
Saxon Gailey, the left tackle, tried to bring down.
Yeah, he's trying to drag him down.
Tried to drag him down, but couldn't do so. Here's the pitch right side. This is Christensen. Christensen gets to the right side. He'll pick up about maybe 5 yards.
That quick pitch right there is one of my favorite plays when it's run correctly. Obviously, they get the blocking out in front of it, but it was really well done there. And obviously, to the short side, it can be a little questionable at times, but really good job there, and obviously a quick 6-yard pickup.
Tackle made on the play by Spencer Shipley out on the edge. Reminder that This game started quickly. American Fork into the end zone in 5 plays, and now back-to-back turnovers, and halfway through this first quarter, PG now into Cavemen territory. Here is Christensen again to the right side, trying to squeeze through a crease, and he gets squeezed off.
Great job by the American Fork defensive line there. Just closing down because it looked like there was a crease there for a moment. He tried to exploit, ended up with no gain as a result.
Bourgeois, who made the interception on that last series.
Called his name a lot already tonight.
We've called a lot of the secondary members a lot already here tonight.
That's true. You're right.
Third down and call it maybe 4. This could be 4 down territory.
It's got to be 4 down territory in this circumstance.
For Pleasant Grove, based on where they are. Schroeder to throw on third down, and that pass is almost picked. Threw it behind Hafolka. Again, a little miscommunication. And that pass should have been intercepted.
Yeah, it's a young quarterback there being sped up and deciding too quickly to throw that ball. And they are going to punt it here. Wow. I would have gone for it if I was Coach Walkenhorst. This is the position on the field. Obviously, it's kind of no man's land. But punting from the plus 42, I think you got to go for it in that circumstance.
The wind has died.
Yeah, there's not. Here, like I said, there's not much.
There is absolutely no wind to speak of here now at Pleasant Grove. So maybe this is a spot where Walkenhorst thinks that Anderson can pin them deep, and he gets off a beauty, a sidewinder. Wilkinson gets out of the way of it.
Well done.
And just on cue, it goes sideways and out of bounds at the 5-yard line. So Mason Anderson with a beauty of a punt. Just a 37-yard punt, but it pins AF at the 5. Time now to pause for our Heidemann Associates Keys to the Game, presented by Full Service Law Firm, committed to winning for you, the client. Hatch, what do you got for the viewers that they should know about this matchup tonight for both teams?
Quite honestly, we already talked about kind of the outset of this game. Is both of these teams need a win to kind of re-energize their seasons. But more importantly, I'm looking to see which team can control the line of scrimmage tonight. We're talking on both sides of the ball. I think it's going to go a long way to determining who wins this game if they can hold up in the trenches there.
And look at this, Hatch. We have a quarterback change. David Gaisford is out already.
I think I can see him over on the sideline just standing there, so I'm not sure what the decision is here.
Fu goes in motion. Swing out. This goes to the right side to Mina, and Mina is going to get smothered by the pursuit after maybe a pickup of about a couple. New quarterback in the game, Capano Manuela,
all right.
number 18. So Campano Manuela, the junior, takes over now for David Gaisford.
Yeah, decent pickup there, despite the fact that one of his wide receivers completely whiffed on a block out there on that wide receiver screen.
Second down and call it 8 now from the 7. Manuela from the shotgun. He fakes the play action, rolls to his right now, throws up the sideline for Taiese, and throws it just out of his reach. Had him by a step, but it'll bring a third down here for AF.
Nice double move there by Taiese and out and up, and it was actually a really well thrown ball, just as you said, a step too short there.
And there you see Josh Dodge, our cameraman, zooming right in. There is Gaisford.
Yeah, so I wonder if this is just getting a look at another quarterback.
Yeah.
I've called enough American Fork games over the past 3 seasons that Aaron Beam, he is not afraid at any point in any game to put a new quarterback in there just to get a look at him.
No, and neither of these Region 3 coaches are.
No, you're right. Yeah, sure. Because we called the Lone Peak game, we saw a revolving door at quarterback for Pleasant Grove.
That's correct. Third down, Manuela takes the snap, and now is in trouble, and he goes down in the end zone.
It's a safety, right?
That should be a safety. No signal yet. I don't think anybody was in a good position, honestly, to see it.
It's going to be our white hat who's going to have to make that call there. It's got to be. Yep. There we go.
Yeah, no one was in a good position to see it. And so now they make the call. It is a safety.
Yeah, I felt like it was a safety for all the way because he never dove forward. He just kind of fell backwards into the end zone there. I was like, it's got to be a safety. And the white hat obviously had the ultimate authority over that because you mentioned nobody on that line being able to really kind of see that there. So quick 2 points, and we have a 7-2 ball game. One of those rare scores you don't see very often.
A baseball score.
Yeah, by the way, we're looking at we got LDS tomorrow, League Division Series.
Yes.
By the way, did you guys watch the Mets last night?
Let's not start that, Hatch. As a Braves fan, let's not start.
Oh, are you a Braves fan? I apologize.
Let's not start.
My condolences.
Hatch.
Here's the thing. I'm a Mariners fan.
There you go.
They lost a 10-game lead in 24 days earlier this season. So,
and we are looking out right now over at
hey.
our right side here. We got a nasty little dust devil spinning up down on the I-15.
Is that dust devil or is that a fire?
That is not a fire by any stretch of the imagination, Hatch. That is a full-on dust devil.
Sweet. Let's go.
So, and you could see if Josh Dodge can pan up to the sky, there's a little bit of a funnel.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah,
above
you're
in the sky, but we will point out it's not a true funnel cloud.
Correct.
It is a. There's the funnel we're looking at up top, folks.
A little swirl right there.
Yeah, that's a little ominous looking up at the top. So hopefully it doesn't come right over the top of our broadcast position, because if it does, then we're all going to have to take cover for a little bit. Lewis Connect now will do the free kick from the 20. Meanwhile, and that's almost going to reach the end zone, but it's going to be taken on the run here by Christensen. Christensen has a block at the 40, gets outside the numbers 50, and he'll just make a business decision to step out of bounds at about the 48-yard line.
Hey, great job by Christensen. He said he took it on the run there. He's actually very patient, allowing his blocks to set up there, and he got a great return to get the plus side of the 50 on that. A lot of returners will get sped up in a situation like that and actually outrun where their blocking is set up for. It's actually really well done by him, patience-wise, to wait for those blocks to get engaged.
And as we're looking out towards that dust devil we were looking at earlier, there's a huge dust cloud coming right towards us now. Again, hopefully the wind keeps it away from us. The wind has completely died here at PG. And Taylor Walkenhorst is now out on the field. Doesn't look like they had 11 men on the field.
Yep, they were barking at one of their guys who was on the sideline, and he was unhappy and barked for a timeout immediately.
Well, we'll take a break with them, and we'll be back. 7-2 is our score. Alexander Timolip alongside Jake Hatch here at PG. Where we're watching Ray Christensen. Nice move to the inside to cut it back. And he gets brought down after a pickup of maybe 3 yards on the play. Just a reminder for people that missed it, there was a safety in the end zone, Maddox Webb, with his second big play. With the interception earlier and then the sack causing the safety, and off the free kick now, Pleasant Grove has it 2nd and 8 at the American Fork 48 on a very odd-looking sky kind of night here in Pleasant Grove. Kickoff temperature was 79 degrees, and it was blowing like crazy earlier, but now there's no wind to speak of, but there's a dust cloud heading straight toward us. Here's an option pitch. Christensen to the left side, gets a block, stays on his feet, and is finally brought down by the pursuit at about the 45-yard line. First contact for AF was made there by Miller, the safety, Lincoln Miller.
Great job there by Christensen, splitting the two blocks on the perimeter there and getting it to third and manageable here. We got a equipment issue here for American Fork linemen.
Not the first time we've seen that. Someone gets chased off. That's the rule. If you get warned the first time and then you get flagged the second time, as the wind now starts to pick up here.
Kicking up a little bit.
Yep, so that dust is coming towards us now. A third down, the pass is caught. And a first down on the out pattern to Adam Wright. And the first down of the game for Pleasant Grove comes on a third down conversion. As the dust cloud now is getting a little bit closer, but the first edge of it is now in our face. And the wind is kicking up. And so, folks, if you have to hear us sniffing out dust from time to time, you'll probably know why. We had some weird weather up this way today here in southern Utah. Here is Schroeder to throw on first down, throws on the run. That is complete to Wright, and Wright breaking tackles and finally knocked out of bounds inside the 25. That is enough for a first down. And right on cue, there is the wind.
Yep, here we go. By the way, the price is right all of a sudden, because he has been near unstoppable these last two plays. Good out route there, and then we're going to cross the middle of the field on that last play there. Pleasant Grove suddenly on the march here.
Hatch is laughing because I'm having to put my hand up
right
now.
I think all of us are.
The dust is coming at us fast and furious now. 1st and 10 from the 25. Here's a handoff on the counter to Christensen, and Christensen gets about maybe 5 yards inside of left tackle as we're close to a minute to go here in the first quarter.
Yeah, great job by Christensen there, working it on the backside, as you mentioned, with that counter play. You'll take that every time. 2nd and 5. That means you have a lot of options as a play caller here for Coach Walkenhorst.
Boy, the dust really flying in our face now here at Pleasant Grove. 2nd down and 5 now from the AF 19. Man goes in motion to the left. That's Hansen. Schroeder throws, and it is they're going to deem it's a backwards pass, so good job by Hansen to pick it up. He's going to lose 2 yardage, but yards on the play, but Hatch, very alert play there.
Yeah, credit to him for staying with it, because as you mentioned, he could have easily thought that was an incomplete pass, but he had the wherewithal to say, you know what, that's a backwards pass, that's a fumble, I got to scoop that ball up.
Some dust now flying in my mouth here. Wind is now swirling here at PG.
A little band of weather here. You can kind of see the tail end of it, not too far off, but you just got to get through it.
43 seconds left here in the first quarter. We'll correct the score clock in a second. Schroeder to throws the slant pattern, and it is incomplete. A lot of early contact by Noah Beam, but no call.
Yeah, I thought Beam got there a little bit early, but no call there from the official. So now it's 4th and 8, and this is a bad spot to be in if you're Coach Walkenhorst, because suddenly you got the wind coming into your face if you were to try and kick this.
Yeah, the wind is going into actually the wind is not only going into the face of Pleasant Grove, but it's also swirling.
Correct, yeah, and that makes it tough.
That makes it even harder. So no choice here but to go for it for Schroeder and co. And they're going to throw on 4th down. Blitz is picked up. Schroeder throws to the left side, and the pass is incomplete. Good pressure put on there by JB and Na'a. And it'll be a turnover on downs.
Schroeder pounded the ground there after he got hit after that pass. I'm not sure what he's so upset about, because the offensive lineman tried to come pick him up and he shrugged him off. Again, there's frustration with the season, obviously not going the way that he probably anticipated it going, but not necessarily what you want to do to an offensive lineman that's protecting you.
There goes the camera.
Yeah.
Flying up into the air as once again the wind really picking up now with this dust devil flying.
And swirling is the perfect description for it, because it keeps kind of going into 360 around us.
A little bit of shear, a little bit of swirling. Where's Jim Cantori when you need him?
Ha-ha, yes, Jim Cantori.
Manuela back to work. Play action throw, high pass, caught by Wilkinson, able to make one man miss, and picks up a 1st down out to the 36-yard line. As that pass looked like it sailed a bit on Manuela, but Wilkinson able to get up there and make the catch.
Yeah, I love that RPO slant play right there, because it forces the linebackers to hold their position and allows the receiver to get right behind them into that nice little soft spot in the zone. Great job by Wilkinson, as you mentioned, to bring that pass down and get 1st down yardage.
Final 15 seconds of the first quarter here at PG. Here is a handoff Afu left side, and Afu gets maybe a couple over left guard, and that will take us to the end of quarter number 1 here tonight. As the siren goes off from behind the scoreboard, American Fork got off to a quick start, but then Pleasant Grove's defense locked down, but AF marching towards midfield. Back with the second quarter. Next Friday, the Rewind Sports Network brings you coverage of the game of the week live from Roy. Join me and Gavin Atkinson live from Ernest F. Durbano Field from what could be the 5A game of the year. Number 1 ranked RPI Roy takes on number 3 ranked RPI Bountiful. Coverage starts next Friday night, 6:50 p.m. on your home for the Rewind Sports Network game of the week. KSL Sports.
You're going to get 2 really good running backs in that game. Robert Young for Roy and Siaki Fekitoa for Bountiful. That should be a fun one.
Don't forget 2 really good quarterbacks.
I was going to say, the quarterbacks,
as
Emerson
well.
Gilman. Yeah,
Yes. Head-off goes to Afu as we start the second quarter. Chain marker was a little off, so that's a pickup of officially 9, and that's a 1st down.
As I was like, we got one ref officially signaling 1st down, so the chains were off there.
American Fork scored on their opening drive of the game in just 5 plays, thanks to a touchdown catch from Cash Tayese. But other than that, it has been mostly defense here so far, with Capono Manuela in the game replacing David Gaisford after just 2 drives. Here's a handoff to Afu going left side, and he rides the seam up toward the midfield stripe, and he gets plastered at about the 49-yard line, brought down by a host of blue shirts. In on the stop, mate was Brody Downs, among others.
Yeah, good job there by Afu, just exploiting that seam as you mentioned. Quick 5 yards, 2nd and 5.
Alexander Timoleb, Jay catch from the top of the press box here at Pleasant Grove High School.
Just like that, the wind's dying down all of a sudden.
Yes, and just like that, the wind's dying down. Like we said, had a little bit of a dust devil come up near Geneva Road, and that drew up some dust. Manuela launching this downfield and overthrows his intended receiver, Dean, by about a couple of steps. Good coverage on the play that time by Nuttall.
Yeah, Nuttall was not allowing any separation there. It was actually a great defensive effort there to stay engaged with the receiver.
So now third down coming up here for AF. Both teams combined 2 of 6 on third down so far. Both sides 1 for 3 on third downs. Wilkinson goes in motion to the right, and now Manuela will get the signal from the sideline. We're looking for the play clocks. They were out here earlier, but we don't see them. So we can't tell how much time is left on the play clock, unfortunately. But anyway, Manuela to throw on third down, throws over the middle into traffic, and it is caught. I believe they may give him forward progress, and the ball comes out. And what do they rule it as? Was forward progress stopped, or was it a fumble?
They're giving it to PG.
They are indeed giving it to Pleasant Grove, and it is Wright who recovered the fumble again. That's his third play in a row that he's made, and Aaron Beam is out here on the field wondering why the whistle wasn't blown. He believes forward progress should have been stopped.
The problem was his receiver reestablished position on the field there and kept fighting. Had he gone down, you mentioned that he probably would have gotten the forward progress there, but he kept fighting for position. Ball gets stripped down. You mentioned Webb, his third highlight reel play of the night already.
So now here is Pleasant Grove again. Schroeder in the pistol this time. The offset shotgun. H back to the right. Christensen, the tailback, to his right hip. And no surprise, it's a cut back to that right side. Trying to get a block. He ends up getting the edge instead. And finally, he's going to get run over by the pursuit out there at around the 40-yard line by Miller, among others.
I keep thinking Wilkinson needs to cut this ball up multiple times on some of these runs he stretches out there. But guess what? He's made good decisions because he keeps picking up 4 and 5 yards as a result, even though he keeps stretching it out.
Already 3 total turnovers in the game, 2 by American Fork, 1 by Pleasant Grove. Both teams have not scored on their turnovers. Notable, American Fork turned it over right back after they got the ball. Second down, 6 to go. Schroeder, hands off, right side. This is Christensen, cuts it back, and he gets chopped down. The ball comes out late, but he was already down. And it'll bring up third down again here for Pleasant Grove.
Officially a pickup of 1, or is it no gain? I guess it's about 1.
I think they officially gave him 2, Hatch. I think they're feeling a little bit generous.
Yeah, that was generous then. Oh, geez, yeah.
I think Chris Jansen may have to go treat the officials at the Purple Turtle afterwards, the way they spotted that.
Love me some Purple Turtle. Kid from Warren, I went to Purple Turtle a lot growing up.
One of the best. Schroeder, hands off, backside. This is Christensen, cuts it back through the hole, and he's got the first down to the 30-yard line. And you called it, Hatch, that Chris Jansen has to get more north-south. He did it just there.
Well, and the thing about this, we had that game 2 weeks ago when they played Lone Peak, and I talked about the fact that Chris Jansen, they needed to establish a ground game if they wanted to have hope against Lone Peak. They never were able to get it going in this game. What they've done so far is they've been very intent on establishing that ground attack, and what you're seeing right now is a result of staying with it. Chris Jansen with a great pickup there for the first down.
Schroeder going quick. Pitch goes to Chris Jansen, makes a man miss. He is very well to get back to the line of scrimmage. Good job by the pursuit getting over there rather quickly.
Yeah, Chris Jansen's feet, I love his feet. They do not get chopped down very easily. They're always getting up. They're not stuck in the ground there. And that allowed him, as you mentioned, to kind of sidestep that initial tackle in the backfield there and get back to the line of scrimmage. Because they actually lose a half yard, it looks like, based on where that marker's at.
Okay, I take it back. Maybe he shouldn't go to the Purple Turtle with those officials, but...
I thought the original spot was in the line of scrimmage, but then it's back a yard almost.
Easton Atwood made the stop on the last play. 2nd and 11 now from the 32. Schroeder from the shotgun, or rather this is Folka. He's going to try to take the read option, and nobody was fooled on that play. Atwood was right there in the middle of the pile.
Yeah, Atwood was not fooled at all, as you mentioned there. He blew that up from the get-go. They tried to get that QB power essentially to the short side of the field, and there was nothing doing right from the snap.
So another third down coming up here. Third down and call it now 15 from the 36. And you'd have to think with the wind at the back of Pleasant Grove, even if they get in past the 30, There is a likelihood there is 4 down territories. We have another equipment issue as somebody else gets chased off the field.
We're 7 games into the season, guys. Have we not established the fact that, guess what, these officials, they're sticklers for the equipment stuff this year. We've seen it.
They really are.
Yeah.
And even in Hawaii, games I've been watching, they are cracking down on it. 3rd down and 15. Schroeder from the shotgun. Takes the snap, steps up in the pocket, now throws a wobbler to the sideline. And a good effort on that sideline to try to make the catch, but it falls incomplete.
Yeah, it was a poorly thrown ball there. Didn't give his receiver much of an opportunity, even though he tried to get it. And interesting, Schroeder's up holding that throwing arm, like kind of around his elbow there. I wonder if he got injured on that throw potentially.
Intended receiver on the play was Ryder Huntsman. They tried to do the toe tap on the sideline.
He gave it every effort he could have on that. He was leaning out of bounds. Like,
that would have been enough to make it 4th and more manageable, but
Correct.
now here's 4th and 15 from the 36.
Yeah, I think the whole idea of that play there was the idea you mentioned, 4th and manageable in this situation.
4th and a mile. Roll out to the left by Schroeder. Schroeder now just throws on the run. Nobody open, so he just throws it away. As they were pretty well covered downfield as Schroeder takes another hit. And 2 possessions with turnovers and no scores for Pleasant Grove. And their defense goes right back onto the field. You have to say, though, Hatch, Pleasant Grove's defense been fairly impressive here so far.
They've hung tough. You're right. And here's the thing: it's still a 7-2 ball game. Like, they've got that safety in here. They're hanging tough in this one. If that offense can just continue to stick with the run game, I think they'll be okay. The situation found themselves in there with it being a 3rd and 4th and long. You got to throw that ball in that situation. But I think this game, they're still going to be in it.
And another quarterback change. David Gaisford comes right back into the ball game.
All right, here we go.
So maybe that was just Micah Hunsaker, the offensive coordinator, giving him time to settle himself. Pass on the edge is caught by Dean. Dean makes a man miss on the outside, breaks another tackle, gets a block up the sideline, and finally is brought down, but not before he picks up close to 25 on the play. And a great job by Dean making a little improv there out of nothing.
Okay, for a tight end, that kid's got some moves. That was a great job by him. You mentioned he breaks the first 2 or 3 tackle attempts and just scoots up the sideline. Got a great block downfield. And you mentioned close to what? Is it 25 on that pickup, roughly?
I believe it was 25.
For a wide receiver screen of that variety, you'll take that every single time as an offensive coordinator.
1st and 10 now from the Pleasant Grove 41. Man comes in motion, now an H-back to the right. Handoff goes to Jensen up the middle. Little bit of a crease, lowers the boom on somebody as he picks up about maybe 4 yards to that left side.
What a hit there. You know, you talk about being hammer in the nail. Well, the running back was the hammer on that play.
Reminds you almost of when Dave Aranda's Baylor teams used to run the ball at will on people back in 2021.
You mean with Gary Bohannon at quarterback?
That was Blake Shapen, I believe, at quarterback. But you're thinking of the other guy at running back, Abram Smith.
Abram Smith, yeah. I'm just saying, like that era team, they did run it hard. You're right.
Gaisford now. Here's a play action for D, and he makes the catch. Able to hold on to it too as he's ripped out of bounds. It is 1st and 10 at the 12-yard line.
One of the hallmarks of this American Fork team that I've watched over the past, 5, 6, 7 years with their wide receivers, they've always got these tall, long receivers. You can just throw that ball up and they find it. Dean's just the latest in a long line of those guys.
Dean, the senior.
Made it easy for his quarterback there. He just put it up there and Dean went up and did the rest.
Out jump Dexton Nuttall for the football. 1st and 10 now from the 12. And we have a timeout called by Aaron Beeman, offensive coordinator Michael Hunsaker. We will take one with them as well. American Fork inside the red zone. Up 7-2 late in the first half. The Bird Brothers Complete Auto Care, where auto care is done better. Thank them for their sponsorship of American Fork football, presented by Heidemann and Associates. We remind you, next week we got a fully loaded slate of football, folks.
Spread over Thursday and Friday, right?
Yes, spread over Thursday and Friday. I should say that Bountiful Roy game is Thursday. Join us also next Thursday from LP as Lehigh takes on Lone Peak. What a matchup that is going to be in Highland, Utah. Coverage starts at 7 p.m. on your home for Lone Peak football, the Rewind Sports Network. As we're watching David Gaisford go back to work and throwing into the end zone. Wide open and into the end zone, making the catch for the touchdown. His second of the game is Cash Tayese.
Yeah, great job there. They ran kind of a flood concept to that wide side of the field. Cash Tayese kind of ran against the grain there on a crossing route, and that was easy money for Gaisford to throw that touchdown pass. You mentioned that their second connection of the game here.
I mean, he was wide open.
I'm telling you,
himself.
the flood concept got all of Pleasant Grove's defense flowing one way. Tayese went against the flow there and found himself all alone.
He found the cash flow.
Yes, he did.
As it
Nice.
were. As Connect has the extra point blocked.
I think it was just a low kick. I think it just went off his lineman there. I think he just mishit that one. I don't think it was necessarily blocked. I think it literally went off the back of his lineman there.
Well, that's something we haven't said very often this year. Lewis Connect getting a kick blocked.
I can speak as a guy who's had an extra point go off his helmet. It's not very fun as a lineman, I can tell you that much. All of a sudden you hear something whack in the back of the helmet.
I don't. As Josh Dodge.
Look at that.
Yes.
The fun. I like that.
He didn't connect very well with that.
Very well with that. Yeah, okay.
Hey, join us next
Josh, well done, sir.
Hey, join us next Thursday once again here from Pleasant Grove. Michael Goodkind and Garrett Thompson have the call as Skyridge travels to Pleasant Grove to take on the Vikings here in Valhalla. Coverage starts at 7 p.m. next Thursday on your home for high school football all year long. The Rewind Sports Network on KSLSports.com. Here listening to the voices of Alexander Timlip and Jake Hatch from Pleasant Grove High School. Want to welcome those of you, of course, listening in as part of the Red Zone on the Rewind Sports Network's simulcast on the KSL Sports Zone, 97.5 FM and 1280 AM. Your home, radio home, I should say, of the Utah Hockey Club.
Utah Jazz, Utah Hockey Club, Utah State Aggies, BYU and Utah pre- and post-game shows. We've got it all on the zone. Come
there
on
you
now.
go.
Think I work for them, you know?
Well, I could
By
just
the way,
tell a little
I
bit.
want to give a shout out to my good friend Finn Daddy, our good friend Casey Finlinson, tuned in tonight listening to us on the game. Hope you're doing well, Finn Daddy.
Lewis Connect will kick off. As the wind picking up again, we can hear it ricocheting off the back of the brick wall here at Pleasant Grove as this kick goes into the end zone for a touchback. And so now Pleasant Grove's offense will come out with 5 minutes and 53 seconds left here in the first half.
Well, let's see what they got here, because we talked about on that last drive there, Alex, is that the running game was going strong until they got into third and long situation here. Seeing they keep Chris Jansen, keep him ahead of the sticks here.
Schroeder from the gun. Gonna throw it and swing it out in the flat here for Chris Jansen, trying to get a block. Does well to at least wedge his way through that small little bit of a crease on the I-15. Well, he gets maybe 2.
Okay, you know what I've been saying? I've been looking for him to cut it up the field. That's the play where he's supposed to string it out a little bit more. It looks like he had some space to the outside there. He just had to cut it up. It felt like maybe a second too early there. But that's why I'm paid to sit up here in the press box and call the game versus be down there.
And this is why they pay me to be behind the microphone, so we're on the same page.
Yep.
Second down and call it 8 from the 22.5-yard line as the wind starts to pick up again. Coming into our face. Here is a handoff. Chris Jansen trying to find a seam. Gets a little bit of a crease. Picks up about a couple to the left side. Picked up about maybe 2 yards before he ran into the arms of the nose tackle, Javian Na'a.
Well, 3rd and 6. It's more manageable than it has been a lot of the time here for Pleasant Grove. See what they dial up here. See if they can move the sticks and maybe mount a little bit of a drive. I'm not going to lie, Alex. We're looking south of us here towards Orem.
Yeah, we have another dust cloud that just popped up that just came to the south of us in Orem.
Just saying, that's my old stomping grounds where I grew up over there in Orem, and it looks pretty gnarly down that way.
4 minutes and 30 seconds and a rolling left here in the first half. 13-2, Pleasant Grove trails. Orbit motion to the backside of Schroeder. And he's going to throw on 3rd down. Extra men on the rush. Schroeder sails this one long, looking for a receiver, and it's incomplete. And it'll bring up another 4th down, and we suspect we're going to see another punt here.
Yeah, I get the idea there from Schroeder, but the problem was he's got 3 white shirts around 1 blue shirt in that formation, like on that throw there. Trying to get downfield, I get it, trying to push it downfield, but that one was a dangerous decision to throw that in the middle of the field with that many white shirts around it.
Good luck, Mason Anderson, punting into the swirling wind.
American Fork knows it.
And there it goes, and this thing goes nowhere. Wilkinson's just going to get the heck out of the way. And it nearly bounces off an American Fork up back. but it's going to take a good bounce anyway for the Cavemen, and the ball will be eventually marked dead at the 43-yard line.
Yeah, that was a sand wedge that just completely hopped straight backwards. I don't know if you saw it. We had a Pleasant Grove player legitimately, like, we're talking wrestling move, take down like I said,
the full takedown?
A suplex, yeah, of an American Fork player. The flag, though, is over in a different part of the field here, so that was more towards the sideline. Let's see what they ultimately call.
I think they're going to call a holding, I believe, here.
Yep, you're right, holding.
It's generally the area where you see holding, and so it's going to push American Fork back the other way.
I was just surprised that suplex didn't get flagged because it was straight like judo type. We're talking.
It's Region 3 football, Hatch. I think they're gonna let a little bit of that go.
They'll let a little bit go.
They'll let a little bit of that go in Region 3.
I assume the officials just didn't see that live time. I saw it and I was like, wow, hey.
I'm with you though, man. I saw that. Anyway, 1st and 10. As Gaisford drops back to pass, he's got time and slings it wide open, and the pass is caught by Wilkinson. Penalty flag goes down in the secondary as Wilkinson gets taken down at the 30. We'll see what the flag is.
Yeah, I'm assuming that's going to be defensive holding back there because it's thrown in the defensive backfield, but wow.
It could also be offensive pass interference.
Did you see Gaisford, though? He mentioned the fact that he had time to triple clutch that throw there. He had so much time in that pocket.
We'll see what the officials call here. It was thrown at the 40-yard line.
They're motioning the
and it is defensive holding, so you're right, Hatch.
Yeah, the crossing route there was two guys kind of coming through on crossing routes, and both defenders kind of grabbed onto their guys. They could have called on both of them, it felt like.
The result of the play is a first down.
So with 3:50 to go, American Fork now once again in Pleasant Grove territory. Already up 13-2. They've scored on 2 of their 4 drives here in the first half. Both touchdowns to Cash Tayese. Here is a handoff up the middle. This is Afu. And Afu will wedge his way into the pile. Gets about maybe 3 or 4 yards. Officially, they give him 4.
That was a lot of stomping feet there for a 4-yard pickup there. I'm telling you, it felt like he got bouncing 3 or 4 guys before he finally got taken down there.
And he is a big man. I mean,
you're right.
That is the thing about we talk about length and athleticism with the receiver core for AF.
Yes.
The running backs, the tailbacks they have are absolute monsters. Another hallmark of their offense as Gaisford is able to draw Maddox right offside.
That hard count has been very effective so far tonight.
That's going to be the 4th penalty on Pleasant Grove tonight. And it'll be the first penalty on Maddox Wright, who has an interception and a fumble recovery to his credit. So it'll be 2nd and 2 now from the 22. Alexander Timolip, Jake Hatch here with 2 minutes and 58 seconds officially left to go here in the first half, and a 13-2 lead for American Fork. Gaisford to throw. Blitz is picked up off the edge. Slings it out sidearm style. That is complete to Tayese. Another penalty flag goes down in the backfield in the area where Gaisford threw the football.
I'm telling you, Cash Tayese, he is a polished route runner for a freshman. He's just turning guys like tops out there. It's impressive to watch him do what he's doing. He's apparently 14 years old. That's absolutely incredible.
Looks like we're going to have roughing the passer here as everybody's walking towards the south end zone.
Personal foul, yeah, roughing the passer.
As the dust cloud remnants from the south coming up now into our direction and swirling into the stadium with 2:46 left here in the first half.
Yep, it's coming in.
First and goal now from the 8 for AF. Tayese goes in motion to the right, or to the left rather. Here's a handoff to Afu. Afu gets into the stack. He gets maybe a yard. Good pursuit there by the PG defense to swallow him up in the hole.
And I got to say, I've been impressed with PG's rush defense tonight. They've actually been very, very strong in the middle there. They've not found a ton of success, speaking of American Fork, running the ball between the tackles.
13-2 here in favor of American Fork. Again, both touchdowns from David Gaisford to Cash Tayese. First drive of the game went 5 plays to get into the end zone. Approaching 2 minutes to go here in the first half. Gaisford from the shotgun, Afu to his right. Gaisford looking, throws the screen. That's complete to Wilkinson. Bumps into his own man, and he's going to lose a yard back to the 9-yard line.
Tackle on Dean on the play. Here's the thing. As a receiver on that, you're obviously trying to ranging out to the side there. It's hard to determine where guys are when you're looking back towards the quarterback to catch that ball. It's unfortunate that Dean had his leg planted right essentially where he caught that pass.
Loss of 1 on the play. Once again, remember, Lewis Connect had an extra point blocked earlier in this first half. And
I feel like he just mishit that one. And obviously with this wind starting to kick up, he's going to be kicking into that.
But the advantage is he does have a strong leg.
Yes.
From the 8-yard line, Gaisford looking to throw, throws it short, and it's dropped.
Oh, somebody heard the footsteps.
Sure did. Pass intended for Richards dropped on the play, and here comes the aforementioned Mr. Connect.
Yeah, we saw Connect actually kick off this way, and he actually made it to the end zone, so he's got plenty of leg to make this.
He was, like I said earlier, for those that missed it, he was kicking from 58 yards in warm-ups.
This is going to be a 20.
And he made it by plenty, by the way.
Yeah, 26-yarder it looks like here.
Yeah, far less than a 58-yarder. Good snap, good hold, Connect's kick. No problem.
Yeah, great kick there.
Splits the uprights, and it's 16-2 in favor of AF with 105. So Connect connects and able to get 3 on the board for AF. Make it a 14-point game with 1:10 to go. Back in 30 seconds after this word from Burt Brothers. Next Thursday night, join the Rewind Sports Network for a full Thursday night of football. Join us from Orem High School and Tiger Stadium as the Springville Red Devils take on the Orem Tigers. Coverage starts next Thursday night at 7 p.m.
That's an old school rivalry there, the Red Devils and the Tigers. We got one right here, Pleasant Grove Vikings and AF. These are 2 of the oldest high schools in the valley.
On the kickoff by Connect, taken by one of the Upmen. Not wanting to kick it into the wind, understandably, so the kickoff taken on the run by Luke Hafen, the safety. And he gets it out to, well, the market close to the 33-yard line. So with a minute left to go here and all 3 timeout, or 1 timeout left for the Vikings.
A little bit of strategy to look at here because American Forks got 3 timeouts that they could use.
And PG will get the football, or rather AF is going to get the football to start the second half. Here's a handoff of a sweep to the near side. Christensen cuts it back over right side. And he picks up a first down at the 44-yard line. And so they'll stop the clock momentarily to set the change with 53 seconds to go. On our clock, officially 52 seconds left here in the first half.
Yeah, that run game grinding to life here. It's fun to see it when it's working well, and obviously that's a nice pickup for first down yardage.
Receiver to either side on first down and 10. Handoff goes to Chris Jansen again, trying to get to the sideline and get out of bounds. He does, and we have a penalty flag down on the sideline for a late hit.
Yeah, he had stepped out of bounds. He was well out of bounds at that point. He throws a big blow on the sideline there. That's going to be a quick 15 yards, and so already going to put Pleasant Grove potentially in scoring territory here with 41.9 is what it looks like. What do we got on 42 seconds roughly?
And that is a crushing.
That's a tough one.
That is a crushing penalty. That's a tough penalty to take if you're AF too. Chris Busing, the defensive coordinator, not going to be pleased about that. Lincoln Miller is the one that got called for the unnecessary roughness.
Yeah, I know those things with Miller, like he's coming to the sideline. He's not sure if the guy's gone out of bounds quite yet. Those are tough ones to absorb, but when the guy's out of bounds, sometimes you got to just hold up and not level a hit like that.
Triple wide receiver lines up to the left now of Schroeder. Play action, Schroeder RPO pass. That is caught. They're going to mark it down at the 28-yard line. Clock running.
I think I use a timeout
with
here.
38 seconds to go, and you called it, Hatch. They will use a timeout. Taylor Walkenhorst immediately.
I was going to say is I wish that wide receiver would have kept his feet. He could have gone for another 5 to 10 yards easily had he kept his feet on that throw. It was a great throw right between the linebacker and the defensive back there. Had he kept his feet, he's probably got another 10-yard pickup before he gets taken down. Unfortunately, he couldn't keep his feet.
So Pleasant Grove on the move here, and for those just joining us, it's 16-2. Remember, American Forks scored now on 3 of their 5 possessions here in the first half, but Pleasant Grove with that safety, and Jake Hatch joining me, Alexander Timolip. This is only a 2-score game, largely because of Pleasant Grove's defense. They've done a remarkable job holding this AF offense, which is normally so explosive, to just 16 points here in the first half when it easily could have gotten out of control in the first 5 minutes.
They have faced an absolute offensive onslaught and have more than held their own here. And if they get a touchdown here, you mentioned it, it's a one-score game going into the locker room. So that's got to give them some confidence they can finish it off. Even 3 points, I think, would have them feeling good about themselves.
I was just about to say, maybe even a field goal would be nice. Schroeder not thinking that. He's going to throw to the end zone, double coverage, and overthrows Spencer Hofulka. Actually, it was out of the end zone, so
that's when the wind, he got that
Yes.
wind sailed a little bit on, the wind got underneath that pass.
And so now it's 3rd down and 1 here with 28 seconds left and no timeouts. I assume, Hatch, that if you run the ball here on 3rd down and 1, you better hope, number 1, if you're stopped short, your field goal unit gets out there in a heartbeat, and number 2, you better hope your offense gets up to the line and doesn't commit a penalty.
Correct, yes. Exactly right. Situational football at its finest.
Double back set here. Downs and Christiansen flanking either side, and they pick up the blitz. Schroeder throws to the end zone, and it eventually works out that way as a throwaway, incomplete, intended for Hofulka again. And this is going to be an interesting decision here for head coach Taylor Walkenhorst. 4th and 1 still with 23 seconds left, Hatch, and still the whole field to work with.
He's talking to his quarterback saying, hey, he must have seen something that he saw from the sideline there, trying to explain to him in that situation. You got to make a throw, a different throw, it appeared, is what he was trying to indicate to him.
So 4th and 1 from the 29 of AF, as Pleasant Grove trying to put at least 3 points on the board before intermission. And they were going to get the 5 yards anyway.
Hey, you know what? Hard Count's got your defense. Hard Count's gets the other defense in this game.
Caleb Huff, the senior defensive edge, going to get flagged for that penalty. And because of that, because the clock did not move while it was a penalty, the clock will not start until the snap. So it works out as a 5-yard pickup and a 1st down to the 24. This is the deepest Pleasant Grove has advanced into AF territory tonight.
Correct.
Schroeder to throw. 4 men on the rush. Sprints out to his right. Throws to the sideline. Throws it away. And you were pointing it out, Hatch. Wade Christiansen was in a pasture by himself near Geneva Road, if he saw it.
I know that the quarterback is ranging to his right, and it's tough to look back across. But he's got to understand, as his running back, he's got responsibility, obviously, to pick up any incoming blitz package there. Then he scoots out to the outside because there's nobody that came. Like you mentioned, he was all alone out there and easily would have had 6.
I mean, he could have walked. Yeah. I mean, he could have walked it. I mean, he could have not been.
Like I said, it's tough to pin that on the quarterback there, but man, missed opportunity.
2nd and 10 from the 24. American Fork showing 5, and they're bringing it. Schroeder steps up, and he goes down.
Now you got to get up to the line. You got to spike this ball.
10 seconds to go.
He's got to get up. He's got to get
Everybody's got to run.
We got
Schroeder
an injury.
can't get up. That's the problem, and this first half is going to run out.
He's limping. He's limping pretty good.
The one thing Pleasant Grove couldn't have, and Taylor Walkenhorst, understandably so, is very upset.
Unfortunately, his quarterback is definitely banged up here. He's still getting checked out by the trainers over here. He could barely even walk. So obviously, you understand, like, hey, a situation like that, it's tough. But you would have been able to have an opportunity to maybe get some points out of that.
So we hit the halftime marker now. It is 16-2 in favor of American Fork. And Hatch, I turn to you now. This has been a very interesting first half. I mean, you would think with the way American Fork has dominated this game so far that this should be a far larger scoring margin, but here we are. It's only a 2-score game at halftime.
Yeah, like all things considered, Pleasant Grove's got to be thinking, hey, we still got a shot in this game. It would have been nice to have points in that situation. You mentioned it towards the end of the half. Further, they advanced into American Fork territory, but they're going to go in that locker room and say, guys, we're not that far off. Let's stay with it and see if we can get ourselves back into this one early on in the second half.
They have 24 minutes to turn it around here this evening. American Fork Football is presented by Heidemann and Associates, the #1 law firm that goes above and beyond the call for you, the client. It's halftime here at Pleasant Grove, 16-2 in favor of AF. Back at the second half with Hatch and I on the other side of this break. Brothers and Mountain Land Outfitters for their sponsorship of tonight's game. American Fork Football is presented by Heidemann and Associates. Alexander Timolip alongside Jake Hatch here on the Rewind Sports Network. On KSLSports.com, ready to start quarter number 3. 16-2 is your score between American Fork and Pleasant Grove. Hatch, I turn to you, and we talked about it before we went off the air for halftime. We just talked about it, for all the offense, that both of these teams have had, and for all of the defense that American Fork has put up, here we are, only a 14-point game as we start half number 2.
Yeah, Pleasant Grove's not out of this game by any means right now, and that's why they got to be preaching to their guys on that sideline, saying, guys, this game is still very much in reach. All is not lost in this circumstance. They just got to stay with their game plan, start executing at a higher level, and if they can get this to a one-score game, all bets are off at that point.
Pleasant Grove got as far as the American Fork 24 in the first half, but were kept out of the end zone as Nate Schroeder was hit hard on a sack on the last play of the first half. And Pleasant Grove will kick off here to start half number 2. American Fork will go towards the south goal here at their home field. Sun has gone down, and it is a beautiful night now here in Pleasant Grove. Temperature 79 degrees at kickoff, probably dipped some as we headed into the third.
Hey, I'm in short sleeves in October. I will take this every day.
Just wait until November when we have to be in long sleeves and in thermals.
That's when I got my coat on. Yeah, that's less fun.
Second half off and running here from Valhalla as the kickoff is taken on the 5-yard line by Wilkinson. 20. And he is going to get hogtied at the 25-yard line, able to back his way forward, but finally the pursuit gets over there to stop him at the 27-yard line. And Hatch, that's the other thing I'll say about this game. This has been a very, very physical game. And you talked about it earlier, the keys to the game, talking about winning in the trenches. You have to say, at least on the measurements we've seen in the first half, the battle in the trenches maybe tipped the scales a little bit in favor of Pleasant Grove, but you have to say after the first 24 minutes, it's about even.
Yeah, they're going toe-to-toe in that trench warfare, and it's been fun to watch, obviously, because the running games have had moments where they've broken through, but no real consistency on either side with regards to running the football.
Manuela now back in at quarterback to start the third quarter for the Cavemen. He has Madden Jensen to his left, and he hands it off to him on the first play of the second half, and he gets maybe a yard before the hole closes up quickly, faster than the Red Sea closed up on the Egyptians.
Biblical references, I like this.
It is conference tomorrow, Hatch.
It is, yes it is.
We should send a shout out to those Latter-day Saints, of course, who will be watching conference tomorrow morning, and I say good luck, of course, to my poor mother and the folks out in the 50th State who must wake up at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning to watch conference, by the way.
Hey, bright and early, let's go.
I know I just threw my mom under the bus. I apologize for that. Is Manuel to throw on second down, throws it up the sideline. Good coverage on Tayese and incomplete. And we have a penalty flag down, and it looks like it's in the area of illegal man downfield.
Yeah, Spencer Folk had great coverage on Tayese out there on the outside, but you're right. I think we're going to have an illegal man downfield down here. Some offensive linemen started wandering down the field. It's a pretty easy call for that umpire when he sees that.
Official signal is that Walkenhorst is going to decline the penalty on American Fork. It is an eligible man downfield. And so it'll bring up third down. And once again, as Josh Dodge looks over to that sideline, American Fork sideline again, David Gaisford just not in the game right now, rotating quarterbacks as head coach Aaron Bean trying to get something going here. And this team only up by 14 points. On third down, Manuela to throw the tunnel screen. That's complete to Wilkinson. Needs to make a man miss. He does. Gets a block to the outside. He's got the first down. He's got plenty more than that. And he's ripped down from behind at the 40-yard line. And Hatch, that's the second consecutive time we've seen that tunnel screen go for a big gain.
Yeah, that's going to have the Pleasant Grove coaching staff ripping their hair out. You have a numbers advantage on that outside there, and Wilkinson breaks 2 tackles and is off to the races. That's a big first down, obviously, for American Fork, and we have got an official's timeout for an injured Viking on that far side, it appears.
It looks like Maddox Weber is on one knee. Looked like he got the wind knocked out of him. So we're just underway here in the second half. American Fork already marching into Pleasant Grove territory and threatening to put up more points on the board. Already up by 14. Maddox Webb able to get up and walk off the field under his own power. 16-2 in favor of American Fork.
I think you diagnosed that perfectly. He's kind of pointing in his midsection. Now he's good to go. It takes a minute when you get the wind knocked out of you to feel like, oh, hey, I am going to live, because when you can't breathe for a second there, it's not fun.
No, it isn't. Here's a handoff to the right side.
Could have been a face mask there. Oh, there it is. Okay.
And there is a penalty flag. You called it, Hatch.
I just saw
Probably played enough football to know that.
Well, I just saw a hand go up around the helmet there, and when that typically happens, usually you're grabbing a face mask, and it's going to add 15 yards at the end of it. Was about a 6-yard pickup.
Luke Broadbent is the one who got the carry on the last play from Manuela. This is going to be the 4th penalty, I would assume, on Pleasant Grove tonight.
Oh, it's going to be actually a hold on
it's
American
a hold.
Fork.
Oh, okay.
That was a surprise.
So I guess the officials felt that the defenders got Broadbent up around the chin.
Let's make it about 1st and 15 after that penalty yard is marked off.
So call it 1st and, yeah, I think you're right, 1st and 15 from the 47-yard line. 4 penalties now against each side here tonight. We're just underway here in the second half of a 14-point lead for American Fork, 16-2. From the shotgun, Capano Manuela takes the snap. Got time back there. Now it breaks down. He gets out of the pocket. And a great open field tackle coming off the edge. I believe that was Brody Downs who broke off his block and that was able to bear hug Manuela to the ground.
Well, I'm not going to lie, Manuela, he's got some moves back there. He can scoop. You mentioned the fact that open field tackle, that was well done because that easily could have broken for bigger yardage there, but a 4-yard pickup, you'll take that.
Cavemen scored on 3 of their 5 first-half possessions, 2 touchdowns and a field goal. On all 5 possessions, they advanced into Pleasant Grove territory. Outside of the safety, of course, so 4 of the 5 possessions, I should say. Manuela now to take the snap. Free rusher coming, and he's sacked. Absolutely no chance for Manuela to get rid of that. Brought down on the play by Derek Brinton, the sophomore linebacker.
That was a great blitz call there by the Pleasant Grove coaching staff. Big loss on the play, making it 3rd and a mile here. Great job by Brinton, because you mentioned the fact they brought an extra guy that wasn't blocked, and Brinton was unabated to the quarterback there.
So 3rd and about the distance from here to Santaquin.
Let's say Provo.
Equidistant, doesn't matter. 3rd down and 21 from the 47-yard line. Pleasant Grove just showing a 3-man rush. Looks like they're going to drop into a cover 3, and they do. But a free rusher again on Manuela. He gets out this time, rolls to his left, and now throws it away in the direction of Dean.
Defensive back, there's got to be a little careful with that early contact there. I know that's letter of the law, but that could have been called for pass interference. He made early contact with that pass in the air.
And so this will be the first punt of the night by American Fork.
Astute observation by you there, sir.
Well, thank you. I pride myself on that. I also pride myself on photographic memory, but we're not going to get into that much. Jet Prestwich will punt the football here to Wright, who hopes to do his team no wrong here. Good snap to Prestwich, has some time, gets it away, and it's a sidewinder into the wind. Wright makes the catch and immediately gets hit and cannot get away from the pursuit.
Great coverage there by the American Fork special teams. They were on him as soon as he caught that ball.
So they will officially mark it at the 10-yard line, so no gain on the return. We'd like to remind you now that the Rewind Sports Network's coverage of high school football continues next Thursday. The American Fork Cavemen are back in action against the Westlake Thunder. Coverage starts next week, Thursday night at 7 p.m. on the Rewind Sports Network on KSLSports.com, your home for American Fork Cavemen football. It'll be part of a loaded Thursday lineup.
We got a new quarterback coming in for Pleasant Grove. No,
it's Nate Schroeder. Nate Schroeder. I was about to say Nate Schroeder still in there.
Sorry, I was looking at the wrong guy running out. There you go. Schroeder back out there. And he got injured towards the end of that first half and was limping pretty hard.
Well, apparently he's okay, but he gets that pass off complete. Noah Beam trying to wrestle down Hansen to the ground. Not an easy task. But Hansen able to pick up a first down, nonetheless.
Nice, easy pitch and catch to open the half there for Pleasant Grove on offense.
That's the thing about this Pleasant Grove offense. They have advanced, they have moved the ball. They have moved the ball very efficiently, but the American Fork defense just been a little bit better here tonight. But still only down by 2 scores. Here's a drop pass and drop back and a pass that's incomplete to that far side, intended for Houghton. And it'll bring a second down.
Sailed that one just a bit. Receiver almost had it, though. Would have been a nice catch had he been able to bring that in.
This is the 6th possession for Pleasant Grove in this game. All of them have advanced past midfield, but none of them have gotten in the end zone yet. Here's a handoff. Chris Jansen takes it right side, and boy, he gets nailed. Lincoln Miller was there waiting for him in the hole and rudely met him face mask to face mask.
Yeah, that was quite a hit on both sides. And Chris Jansen got up limping a little bit there, but it appears to be really no worse for the wear after that, because that was, you mentioned the fact that Miller was waiting for him, and that was quite a hit.
So 3rd down and 7. Combined in this game, both teams are just 3 of 12 on 3rd downs. Schroeder to throw. They pick up the blitz. He throws to the left side. That is complete, and then in and out of the hands of Ryder Huntsman. He had it in his hands, but Bourgeois was able to get his fingers in there and break up the play. And after picking up the 1st down, Pleasant Grove goes 3 and out.
Well, if you want to get your offense going, you got to have guys like Huntsman bring that pass in. That was a tough one to see him drop that, because he had a good position on that. Just needs to complete the catch.
So the 3rd punt of the game here for Mason Anderson. Wilkinson has heels back on his 45. Good snap to Anderson. And he gets off a sidewinder. And Wilkinson this time going to make a fair catch signal and then get the heck out of the way. Probably better that he did, as this punt's going to die right at the 38-yard line.
Give him the 37, it looks like, actually.
And Lamar get officially at the 37.5, so we'll call it good right there. The Rewind Sports Network and our coverage of high school football.
We got a flag down.
Is presented by Heidemann and Associates. Before I get to that, Hatch, thank you very much for pointing that out. We have a penalty flag down. It's just under the chin of that Viking logo. There it is, just off to the left side of your screen at the 45-yard line. As our white hat has to come over a far ways, getting his steps in. The flag was thrown at the 45 hatch, so I would assume this is in the area of holding.
Yeah, typically it's kind of where things like that break down, but they're having a nice little conversation here about what all went down.
Well, we'll see what they call. Okay, so it was an inadvertent flag, so it must have been the official was trying to throw the beanbag. It must have been the official was trying to throw the beanbag and then pulled out the yellow hanky by mistake.
Yeah, that one was a tough one, obviously, because you try and obviously get that where it's, oh, I got to throw the beam. Oh, I pulled the wrong thing, and everybody's unhappy with you because you threw a penalty flag. Heard some boos from across the way over there from the American Fork faithful.
Probably in jest,
yeah,
of course. So Capona Manuela back out there to start this drive for the Cavemen from the 37-yard line, up by 2 scores, and almost halfway through the 3rd quarter. Pleasant Grove showing blitz. They back out of it this time. Pass is caught. That is Dean. And Dean got ridden on top of like he was a merry-go-round. And Hansen, the no worse for the wear. Referee's able to break up the fracas, if there was one, on that stripe of midfield, but it's a 1st down nonetheless.
Well, props to Dean, though. Like, he's got a guy on his back and just carrying him like it's nothing there. That shows him some strength there just to carry that guy downfield.
On the 49-yard line now, offset formation of the shotgun. H-back to the left of the formation. Out of flag.
Hard count, man. It's been getting Pleasant Grove all night long.
Both sides tonight, it's been getting them.
Yeah.
This time it's Brody Downs that's called for the infraction. American Fork trying to pad their lead here. They're only up by 14. Feels like a bigger lead, but it's only a 16-2 game. Both offenses have been able to move the ball, but both defenses have been equal to the task, at least thus far. Here's a handoff to Afu going right side. Afu gets into the stack, tries to charge his legs forward, and finally the dust cloud settles after he gets pulled down after a pickup of 4.
He just keeps those feet churning. It's fun to see him do his thing there. It's just picking up yardage. And the nice part is he's got his offensive line behind him there, getting extra push. And as you mentioned, you get a nice pickup as a result.
Approaching the halfway point of the 3rd quarter, American Fork up 16-2 right now over Pleasant Grove. The only score of this game for PG came on an early safety. American Fork's defense able to hold up strong the rest of the way so far. Manuela sprint out to the right, throws on the run. That is complete for a first down. More progress will be given, I'm sure, to Cade Wilkinson, who has a first down at the 40-yard line.
Yeah, nice pitch and catch. They're just trying to get to the sticks there. That's exactly what they did, but a great open field tackle as well by the Pleasant Grove defense there.
6 minutes and 5 seconds officially enrolling here in the third quarter. Alexander Timlip and Jake Hatch. Again, want to welcome those of you who are watching as part of the KSL Sports Rewind Friday Night Red Zone on the Zone Sports Network. KSL Sports Zone 97.5 FM and 1280 AM. From the 40-yard line, 1st and 10. Here is a fake to Broadbent. Throw in the middle. That's complete, sitting in the zone. And making the catch is Tayese. Tries to get away and then gets walloped as he gets to the 34-yard line. Pickup of close to 5 or 6 on the play.
Yeah, great job there by the quarterback on the RPO to pull that and throw it right into that seam there. And obviously Tayese, we've been talking about him all night long. He's a very savvy route runner, and a great job by him sitting down in that zone.
Been one of the best offensive players all night for American Fork. Single wide receivers in your screen now. Tayese goes in motion to the left. As we approach the 5-minute mark here in this third quarter, American Fork trying to put points on the board. Here is a handoff to Broadbent going into the stack, and he's going to be short by about a yard. Brought down on the play by a host of blue shirts led by Downs.
I'll just say this: Pleasant Grove. You look at them size-wise; they're being like they look smaller than American Fork's offensive line. I give them credit; they have been really, really strong right there in the trenches, not giving much yardage in terms of allowing American Fork to run up the middle.
Alton Pine also in there on the tackle. 3rd down and 1. You probably think this is 4-down territory. 2 downs to pick up 1 yard here if you're AF. Here is a handoff to Broadbent, right side, cuts it back, bumps off a man, and has the first down across the 30-yard line.
Yeah, just enough by Broadbent there. You mentioned bouncing off the would-be tackle there. He gets the 2 yards when he only needed 1.
So a first down nonetheless for American Fork. That's the first 3rd down conversion for either side since midway through the second quarter. Remember, combined 4 for 16 on 3rd downs now after that play.
All right, 25% across the entire game. Jeez.
But credit American Fork. They have converted their opportunities when it's counted. The average yards to go for American Fork on 3rd down has been 3rd and less than 5 as Afu takes the sweep to the right side. Got room up the sideline, and he gets shoved out of bounds into the sideline at about the 15-yard line. Good blocking out there to set the edge, and a pickup of close to 13 or 14 for Prince Afu.
It was a great read by Afu. He was supposed to go up, kind of right off the tackle there. Notice there was space to the outside, bounces it with a nice sidestep there. You mentioned great yardage and a first down as a result.
14 yards officially on the pickup for Prince Afu. As American Fork marches into the red zone once more with 3:38 left to go here in the third quarter. And already up by 14. You have to think a score of any kind at this point probably makes this a difficult mountain to climb for Pleasant Grove. Manuela to throw. Looking, throws to the end zone. Got Wilkinson open, and he just couldn't get open quite enough. Incomplete. Good coverage on the play on the backside by Nuttall, and it'll bring up 2nd down.
Yeah, I would have liked to see the quarterback just take it one more beat and then throw that pass. Allow Wilkinson to really get into that break there. Had he done that, I think it might have been a touchdown.
To first place. Congratulations, Squire.
3:32 left to go here in the third quarter. Triple wide receiver lines up to the left now. Offset shotgun formation for the quarterback, Manuela. Afu now motions out to the right, making it 5 into the pattern. And Manuela going to throw the tunnel screen. That's complete to Dean. But good open field tackle again. Again, American Fork had some space, but Mason Anderson closed it down. And here's another 3rd down here, Hatch, for the defense.
Yeah, great job. The Pleasant Grove team, they've been tackling well all night long. They've actually been very strong defensively. That's why they've hung in this game as long as they have. And we'll see what they do here on this 3rd and 8 we're looking at.
3rd and 8, and you'd have to think maybe it's 4-down territory for American Fork to get 8 yards and 2 downs here, because you certainly have the firepower to do so if you're offensive coordinator Michael Hunsaker. Under 3 minutes to go now, third quarter. Manuela to throw, looking, throws the out nut to the end zone. It is caught by Dean, but he is out of bounds at the 2-yard line. Doesn't matter though, 1st and goal, and another throw up top to the big man.
Yeah, great job. Just throw it up there, allow him to get down, and obviously convert for first down yardage here. Now, this is where a guy like Prince Afu's thinking, all right, give me that ball, get me behind that big offensive line, let's punch this in.
And here, for the first time tonight, right on cue, here comes the T formation. Na'a, Broadbent, and Afu. The handoff goes to Broadbent, and he gets into the end zone. Touchdown, Cavemen.
Old school wing T formation. I love it. And obviously, you get those 2 lead blockers out in front of him there, and he just plunges in from 2 yards out. Easy touchdown, as you mentioned. That one may put this game a little too far out of the reach of the Pleasant Grove Vikings.
And quite a response, too, from the American Fork Cavemen, just methodically going down the field.
Yep.
A good bounce-back drive for this offense after that really tough start to the second half. So here is Lewis Connect, who's already had an extra point block tonight. Better snap, better hold, and this time Connect puts it right through the middle. And that makes it 23-2 in favor of American Fork with 2:44 left to go here in the third quarter. Back after this word from UCCU on the Rewind Sports Network. So 2 different quarterbacks have led scoring drives tonight. Capano Manuela leading that last touchdown drive into the end zone on a 2-yard touchdown run by Luke Broadbent. As it really has been the Cash Tayese and David Dean show here tonight. In Pleasant Grove, Alexander Timmel alongside Jake Hatch from the top of the press box here at Pleasant Grove. Lewis Connect will kick off. It's a line drive kick, and it'll go right through the back of the end zone. Good time to remind you the Rewind Sports Network's coverage of American Fork football is presented by Heidemann and Associates. Call them today or visit them online for your free consultation of them courtesy of the Rewind Sports Network. Wow, I talk for a living. And it's also presented by Burt Brothers, where auto care is done better. So 2:44 to go here in the third quarter, 23-2 in favor of American Fork.
Well, if Pleasant Grove wants to mount any type of comeback here, Alex, it feels like this has got to be the drive. You got to go get a touchdown right now.
Schroeder had a couple of options downfield. Now looks into the middle. Pass is caught. That's Huntsman, and he's able to pick up about maybe 5 yards.
Nice, easy pitch and catch. Open this series with a nice 5-yard pickup. Keep themselves ahead of the chains here and open up the playbook wide open right now.
And really, Hatch right now, I think that's all Pleasant Grove needs to do is they need to find some kind of off.
Just get into a groove. Yeah.
They've had opportunities. They've had opportunities. They have moved the ball, but it's just bogged down, and it's been really tough sledding for them here tonight. Nice cutback by Chris Jansen. He has the first down to the 30. And as the senior running back, not going to let this go without a fight here late in this third quarter.
Yardage for another Viking.
Really like the offensive line on that play. Nice pull by the backside guard there on that counter look. And you mentioned Chris Jansen. Once he gets a full head of steam, it's hard to bring him down.
Pleasant Grove has yet to score a touchdown here tonight. They have scored defensively on that safety. Here's Schroeder to throw on 1st and 10. Tunnel screen is caught, but for not much there. Good pursuit to the ball by Noah Bean, the nickelback.
Yeah, Noah, really good job by sniffing that out, making sure it was going to go for minimal yardage here. I think you're going to give him, a yard roughly?
It's that nickelback position, Hatch, that I like to call the spear on Chris Busing's defense.
I like it.
Approaching 1 minute to go here in the third quarter, and if you're Pleasant Grove, probably just aiming to get some momentum going on offense and get into a rhythm. It has been tough sledding, but give them credit. When they've had their opportunities, they have been able to move the ball. 2nd and 9 from the 32. Schroeder to throw, throws high, but the pass is caught. Great catch out there on the edge by Houghton. And Brennan Houghton has a first down up to the 42-yard line.
Yeah, good job there by Houghton to go up and get that ball. That was an easy pass to catch in traffic like he did, but as you mentioned, move the sticks. And you and I have talked about this. They've gotten into some zones here and gotten moving, but the problem is it stalls out far too quickly. See if they can keep this one going.
Final 30 seconds of the third quarter, and you would assume that maybe that was the last play unless Taylor Walkenhorst wants to run one more.
They're not showing the giddy up that would indicate that they're trying to go for a second play here.
Probably just trying to run one more to avoid a delay game penalty. Here's Christiansen to the left side, bounces it outside off a couple of tackles. He gets knocked out of bounds close to midfield at the 49-yard line.
Well, they will get another play because he went out of bounds.
Yeah, so they will. So they will get one more play. Christiansen ran out of bounds, so that'll stop the clock with 8 seconds left. Here in the third period.
49-yard line. 6 yards.
I really like the way that Christiansen runs with the football. He's got good vision, not afraid to bounce to the outside. When he finally gets space, you can see he accelerates very quickly.
If Pleasant Grove can get into the end zone here at any point during the next quarter and a half, that can make things very interesting down the stretch. Here's Schroeder looking, throws. That is complete to Hafolka, his first catch of the game. And he's out of bounds with 5 seconds left here in the third quarter. That'll move the sticks.
Nice quick out route there, pitch and catch on time, and obviously another conversion for a first down.
5 seconds officially left on the clock here in the third quarter. Pleasant Grove trying to at least get into the end zone. Schroeder throws the tunnel screen. That's complete to Huntsman. He's got a couple of blockers. As the siren goes off, he dives down to the 39-yard line. And that will take us to the final 12 minutes tonight here in Valhalla. It's been All-American Fork defensively here tonight. Cavemen up 23-2, but Pleasant Grove on the move as we head to the last 12 minutes. The final 12 minutes here tonight on the Rewind Sports Network, coming up at the conclusion of tonight's game. Jake Hatch and I will be selecting our choice for the Heidemann & Associates Player of the Game, the player that went above and beyond the call for his team tonight. It's presented by Heidemann & Associates, the full-service law firm that goes above and beyond the call for the clients they serve. Obvious four-down territory here for Pleasant Grove, down 21 as we start the fourth quarter. Alexander Timolip with Jake Hatch. Here in Valhalla, in the heart of the Grove. Handoff goes to Christiansen. We start the fourth quarter, and he's got the first down to the 35-yard line. Now to pick up a 5 yards.
That's about Christiansen. He seems to be just running stronger and stronger as this game goes along there. First tackle attempts are not bringing him down right now.
Another Viking. That's another Viking.
So this is kind of the drive, remember, they had at the end of the first half. They got down to the 24-yard line there. Kind of mounted a drive like this. Let's see if they can cap this one off with points.
Double backs next to the quarterback. And it's a triple option pitch to Christiansen. Christiansen breaks a couple of tackles. He gets still out to about the 30-yard line. Meanwhile, behind the play, another big hit late on Nate Schroeder.
Yeah, Schroeder, he had an awkward pitch on that. You could tell he's not feeling 100%. He's coming out, it looks like. Or is he going to check it with the sideline? Sorry. I thought he was coming out because I saw Hafolka going out there. He was kind of in the backup. But you could see him on that play. He kind of 2 steps forward and just pitched it out. That was not a true running threat with the triple option. Let's just put it that way.
But give Schroeder some credit, Hatch. I mean, that is one battling. Tough kid.
Yeah, because the hit he took at the end of that first half, the end of the half, he got crunched, and he was feeling it. You could see it.
Second down and 5. Schroeder got time in the pocket, lofts one. Dangerous pass. It is tipped and incomplete. It looked like it was intended for Hansen, but Miller got his hand on it.
Yeah, Miller, great coverage there. Pass breakup for him. That was a great play. I don't like crossing route. Those can be really tough to defend, but you mentioned the fact that the ball thrown behind the receiver makes it extra dangerous in terms of the quarterback's decision-making there.
Check that. Actually, it wasn't actually Miller. It was Corbin Bowerly, number 30, who was in there on the play.
Our mistake, but a great play nonetheless.
Yes, great play nonetheless.
Because picking up those crossing routes as a linebacker from that spot, it can be really difficult. That's why they run them so often.
Yeah, because you get caught up in the wash in the middle of the field. So obvious four-down territory.
We got a timeout.
And now Taylor Walkenhorst is going to burn a timeout with 10 minutes and 46 seconds left here in the fourth quarter. And that will be a cue for us to take one as well. Back in 30 seconds after this word from Nutricost on the Rewind Sports Network with the Cavemen up 23-2. I'd like to thank Nutricost for helping our viewers take control of their health. Proud sponsor of the Rewind Sports Network's coverage of high school football, which will continue next week, Thursday. Join us from the Hawks Nest as the Alta Hawks take on the Skyline Eagles in the Battle of the Birds in Sandy, Utah. Coverage starts close to 7 p.m. next week, Thursday, on the Rewind Sports Network on KSLSports.com. Third down and 5. We pick it up live, and I mean live, as Hafolka's open over the middle and makes the catch.
Hey.
Schroeder threw it a little bit behind him, but nonetheless, Hafoka has a first down, and this now, the deepest advancement into Cavemen territory tonight for PG.
Schroeder, I was afraid he was going to mistime that throw because Hafoka was that wide open. That can be actually almost like disconcerting as a quarterback to see a guy that wide open. The good news is they completed the pass. That's all that matters. Hafoka's probably wondering himself, why am I so wide open? There was a mix-up, obviously, in coverage there.
Yeah, somebody missed something in coverage.
Yeah, he was running all alone down the seam there.
1st and 10 now from the 11. Hand off to Christiansen, trying to go right side. Cuts it back into the stack, and he gets brought down after a pickup of maybe 3.
You'll take that, though. 3 yards. It gets you second and very manageable here.
Second down.
I think at this point in the game, down 21 points, this is 4-down territory all the way.
Right. Yeah, you have to think this is 4-down territory for PG, down 21 points, and the deepest they've advanced into American Fork territory this evening. They have been able to advance far down the field, but they haven't made it pay off yet. Here's Christiansen on a sweep. Cuts it back to the inside, and he gets waffle boarded as he gets to about maybe the 5-yard line. They'll mark it off officially at the 7.
Waffle boarded. That's a first. I've never heard that one before.
Well,
I like
that's my hockey lingo coming out.
I like it though. I'll take it. Yeah, you are the okay. So you hockey news, right?
Yes, the hockey news.
Covering
Exactly.
Utah Hockey Club for not the Utah Hockey News. The
Hockey News.
My
Yes.
apologies. Utah Hockey Club, the Hockey News. Very generic names, you know.
3rd and 6 now from the 7. Schroeder looking to throw, throws the fade to the end zone. Touchdown! And it is Dayton Hansen. And Pleasant Grove maybe, just maybe, has life. Down by 2 scores now with 9 minutes to go.
Great job by Schroeder there, being patient, allowing that corner out to develop. Threw it right on the money. You mentioned Hansen runs right underneath it. Big touchdown for their hopes of coming back in this one with 9:01 to go.
So it is not over just quite yet. It is a 15-point game. No matter the outcome of this extra point, it will still be a 2-score lead. Good snap, good hold. The kick is up, and it is blocked, so it will remain a 15-point game, which means Pleasant Grove will need a 2-point conversion somewhere along the line. But Jake Hatch, more importantly, Pleasant Grove is in the end zone for the first time tonight, and now maybe just a little bit of momentum here for the Vikings.
Yeah, they needed that. We've had some weird score lines tonight so far. We had a 7-2. We had a 23-2, just barely. Now it's 23-8. But you're right. They needed some momentum to obviously build on here. Now, here's the deal. 9 minutes and change to go here. You get a quick 3 and out, go down and score again. Suddenly it's anybody's ball game at that point. So that's this sideline. They got to be thinking, hey, let's keep fighting here. That defense has held them in this game as best they possibly can. They can get a 3 and out. They can find themselves in money territory.
And you have to think right now, Hatch, that Gavin Atkinson and I saw this picture back in late September with Riverton.
And they're expecting onside, by the way. I don't have to cut you off. Look at how they're setting up here.
They sure are. This is
Hans' team.
But I just have to think it'd be a little bit early.
It's early, but
it'd be a little bit early to try an onside kick.
I think
There's still
point,
9 minutes to go.
You kick it deep if you're Pleasant Grove here.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, that's the thinking you would think.
Yep,
and they are going to kick it deep. So the right decision. And it is taken by Jensen on the 20, and he's going to get run over. So good field position nonetheless for AF at the 35-yard line. And like you said, Hatch, this game far from over. 2-score game with still 9 minutes to go. If PG gets a stop here and they get the ball back, they could potentially go down and score. And like you said, we could be in a whole new ball game.
Yep. Biggest, obviously, a turnover would do wonders as well. But there's everything to play for still here if you're Pleasant Grove. This is not you putting lipstick on a pig. You're still very much in this one if you can get a quick stop.
And remember, they've already forced 2 turnovers off of AF tonight, both caused by Maddox Webb. Gaisford now double back set. Kind of tells you what Michael Hunsaker's thinking here.
Yep.
I think it's a run. It's going to be a run. It should be a run. It is a run, and it's Jensen, and he's got space. And he bowls his way forward all the way out to midfield.
And by the way, heads-up play by him not to go out of bounds there, to obviously run some clock once they set this ball. Actually, kind of heads up by him because you saw him veer back inside as he broke into the open field there, but a nice pickup for first down yardage.
American Fork at the 48-yard line.
And a big response there by AF after giving up that touchdown.
Yeah, I got to give credit to the left side of that AF
Yes.
offensive line. They did a really good job collapsing the defensive line there.
You would expect it's going to be another run here on 1st and 10 from the PG 48. It is. And it's the same play. Jensen gets to the sideline, and this time he's going to get taken down out of bounds. So the clock will stop with 8:17 left to go here in the fourth quarter.
Heads up play by him. He tried to go down inbounds once again. It's just momentum took him out of bounds.
Brody Downs, the captain, made the stop. Can PG get one stop to try and make this game interesting again? Remember, they need a touchdown, 2 touchdowns, and a 2-point conversion somewhere along the line, and all in 8 minutes. I mean, heck, if the go-go offense could score in less than 6 minutes, 21 points, then it's certainly doable as this pass is caught. But again, sliding down out of bounds.
We got a flag that just came in late by the umpire. I wonder what something was said there, or if there was a late holding call.
Possibly could also be an ineligible man down the field.
You're right, but the way that pass is thrown, I thought they'd gotten out of the way. But yeah, here and they're backing up like as if it's going against them. Speaking of American Fork, so.
Well, let's see what the call is. Because I'm sure if it's against AF, Walkenhorst, that's a late hit against American Fork, so that means the down's going to count.
Yes,
and
that's
Walkenhorst,
3rd and a mile.
It's going to be 3rd and a mile here.
That's a big break for Pleasant Grove. They can get off the field here.
So it's going to be 3rd down now.
Personal foul against American
Because or rather, it's going to be repeat a 2nd down because the down did not count. It was during the play foul. So instead of 3rd and manageable, it's going to be 2nd and a mile now.
Yeah, and the thing is, it was thrown so late. I actually thought it was a dead ball foul. So yeah,
I actually thought it was
good
too.
catch by you, but it was live ball.
I actually thought it was too, but it must have been a face mask infraction of some sort. As Gaisford looking to throws it on the middle, and that pass should have been intercepted. Luke Hafen came screaming in like a missile.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, we have
with a near interception for the Vikings.
the White Hats coming over, and I believe it's going to be 4th down, isn't it? Because Hatch, I think
they're saying it should be 4th down.
Yeah, because
here,
Hatch, I think.
So it was a dead ball foul.
Yeah, so you were right, Hatch. It was a dead ball foul, so you're right on it.
So it is 4th down. So we just had to screw up on the far side where the marker is at. Well, now we got to talk it over.
And now offensive coordinator Michael Hunsakers with the red shirt is saying, "Wait a minute, I thought it was 3rd down."
Yeah, but
and now everybody's confused.
Back to your point, though, Hafen, that was near perfect play by him. You mentioned reading the quarterback's eyes there. It was a bad decision by Gaisford to throw that into coverage.
And look at Aaron Beam right now. He is going berserk on that sideline.
Yeah, and he's barking. Well, you guys said it was a live ball foul, but like I said, it was thrown so late. I thought it was dead ball.
It was thrown late. I will say that. And Beam is still pleading his case to the officials.
And we got the Pleasant Grove coaches. They're trying to figure out if send the punt team out, what they're trying to do here.
I think and I think both sides are just as confused as anybody right now. It's like, what down is it?
Yeah, if it was a dead ball foul, obviously the down
counts.
Yeah. That's the determination we got to make.
But they did not say it was a dead ball foul, so. So Aaron Beam still pleading his case to the officials. And
so it is going to be 4th down.
So it is going to be 4th down, and boy, Jake Hatch, 8 minutes and 7 seconds to go. PG gets the stop.
Yep, that's big.
And now their offense is coming back out on the field.
Thinking themselves a return here and set themselves up in good field position. We'll see what happens.
See if Aaron Wright can do his team some right here.
Do right by his team.
Do right by his team, or right the ship, as it were. They are Vikings, after all. Here's the punt from Presswich.
Good
and
kick.
It's a good punt. It's going to drive right back. He bobbles it. Probably better that he did get on top of it in the end because he gets taken down to the 14-yard line. So disaster averted for the Vikings. But nonetheless,
got everything
still
to play for.
Still got 7 minutes to go, Hatch. 86 yards. Yes, you have to put into the end zone, but you still have 7 minutes left, and you probably have 1 or 2 more possessions now in this game to get the stop.
And I'm going to guess the coach Walkenhorst is telling his guys right now, hey, we're not going to go full 4-minute offense in terms of like the pace here, but we got to pick up the pace just a little bit.
Well, Nate Schroeder threw that touchdown to Dayton Hanson on that last drive. And now the Vikings coming back out. Again, only down 15 points. They needed 2 touchdowns, and somewhere along the way, they need a 2-point conversion. Play action. Schroeder throws, caught. Huntsman, first down. And he gets out to about the 27-yard line. That's going to be enough for a first down. Pick up a 13.
Hey, I want to give a shout-out to Schroeder here. He is battling in this game, and he's really starting to throw some darts out there. It's good to see because this offense is grinding to life finally.
He's starting to remind you of that Carson Rasmussen performance.
Yeah, well, Rasmussen was such a gamer. Like, we're talking an undersized guy. You've seen him attempt you, obviously.
Oh,
but
yes.
He made this thing go, and you're starting to see Schroeder show signs of that. You're right.
It was Rasmussen who led Pleasant Grove to that upset of Skyridge last year on the road on 1 foot. Schroeder to throw, pass, caught, Hafuka. He makes the catch, gets hit after a pickup of 4.
Spencer Hafuka.
They got to be setting some up with all these curl routes like that. They got to be setting up a curl or a slant and go here on that.
Possibly even a deep comebacker route or a
Well, I'm just telling you, like
or a switch pattern.
You got to think in because he keeps running that kind of curl or that slant look. At some point, he's going to get that guy to bite, and he's going to break beyond him, and hopefully Schroeder will be able to find him on that.
We're starting to think in run and shoot terms here.
Yes, absolutely.
I love it. Schroeder throws screen. That's complete. Huntsman gets a block.
Gonna be a hold.
But a penalty flag comes down. Called it.
Yep.
You could see that one from a mile away as looked like Brinton got a hold of somebody's shirt back there.
Yeah, when the defensive back goes 2 different directions in the same motion, hey, you might have a little bit of a hold there.
Be just the 5th penalty of the night on Pleasant Grove, and that's going to be a hurt. And that's going to hurt because it's going to back them up 10 yards.
Yep, you don't need that in this situation.
It was kind of like that defensive holding. I don't know if anybody saw Oklahoma-Auburn Hatch on Saturday.
Yes.
Remember when they committed that defensive holding and then the defensive back gets up and puts his hands in the air? It's like, oh, I didn't do anything.
Wasn't me. Yeah.
It's a clear-cut sign when somebody puts their hands up in the air. Somebody did something.
When you go hands up, the official's like, what'd you do?
No, I didn't see what you did. What did you do? So 2nd down now and 14 yards to go. Triple wide receiver lines up to the left, and so you would expect some form of a run and shoot style play is coming. With 6:40 to go, now they start the play clock. Schroeder to throw. Throws the tunnel screen, and it is dropped. Hafolka had it go right through his fingers.
Yeah, that ball was a little bit behind him, but he got his hands on, obviously, and he would have liked to bring that down. He did take quite a hit as soon as he would have actually caught that pass, but so would have liked to have seen him bring that ball in.
So it's 6:35 to go here in the 4th quarter. You'd have to think that Pleasant Grove is likely going to punt this football if they get to 4th down, but if it's 4th and maybe inside of 6, they might think about going for it. Double wide receivers either side. Free rusher coming off the edge. It's picked up, and the pass is incomplete. Hansen was wide open. And again, Schroeder and Hansen not on the same page. We've seen that a lot tonight from this PG offense.
Yeah, but Hansen was streaking. Sorry, I didn't mean to catch up.
And now a punt here. Obviously, Pleasant Grove, you can't go for it on 4th and 14 at your own 23.
Yeah, Hansen was streaking right on that kind of the underneath route, and Schroeder just mistimed his throw there. Unfortunate, because you mentioned Hansen, he was all alone. Would have been able to pick up some good yardage on that.
Vikings just brought the gunners in to make sure Anderson gets this punt away, and it's a good spiral end over end. And Wilkinson drops it, and a scramble for the loose ball, and they're digging to the bottom of the pile, and I believe it was recovered by Pleasant Grove. It was.
Coach Beam is beside himself.
Coach Beam can't believe it.
Yep.
Now, and I can understand that. And a penalty flag now comes out as Beam got in the ear of the official. Now, Hatch, unfortunately, I really can't blame him because American Fork looked like they came out of the pile with it.
And it appeared there was some contact on the returner.
Yes, and remember, this is the exact same play we saw last week at Orem, where a Maple Mountain player appeared to recover it, but they ruled that Orem had possession of it on the ground. Same exact situation we have here.
Yeah, and they're going to give this flag, and Coach Beam's still waiting for an explanation, obviously. We got another flag.
And now another flag comes down, and I feel...
So that's the kick-catch interference, probably.
But was it really kick-catch interference is the question.
Yeah, that's the question. You're right.
If it was kick-catch interference, it would have been thrown right away. We're going to see what the call is.
Yep.
And they will call kick-catch interference.
It's a tough break for PG. Sideline warning against American Fork.
Yeah, and that's the flag that came out late on Aaron Beam.
So it will be American Fork ball after all that. Are they going to re-kick it?
No, they're gonna place it off 15 yards from where the interference spot was. So it will be a first down.
Tough break for the Vikings.
That's a tough break. And now Taylor Walkenhorst down here on our sideline is getting in the ear of the line judge saying, how could that be interference if you guys didn't throw it right away?
Yep. Valid question.
But all evens out of the end, right?
Yep. Yes, correct.
It all evens on the end. So 6:21 to go. American Fork catches a huge break. And Gaisford to throw. He's going to throw out to that sideline. It is dropped. And Cash Tayese, who's been spectacular all night long, a rare mistake by him.
Yeah, we have not seen him do much of that in terms of dropping the passes, but big drop there.
6:18 left to go here in regulation time. Still 2 timeouts for PG, but remember, as in it's not the same as in college football, NCAA or or spring league or professionals football. No 2-minute warning, but there is going to be a flag for a false start. Was it induced?
False start against American Fork, 5-yard penalty. Replay, second down.
Well, the PA announcer made the call. He made the call, but I don't think that's going to be the call. I think it's going to be offside, unfortunately. I think that's the signal anyway.
Yep, there we go.
Yep. So that must have been for the disconcerting. So that is a product probably of disconcerting signals.
Well, typically they call it delay a game when it's those disconcerting signals. I just wonder if they screwed up in terms of like the call, if that makes sense.
Right.
And it's still 5 yards.
And now we have a flag down as Walkenhorst got in the ear of the official, and now this is coming unglued.
Yeah, is this a sideline warning, or is this going to be 15 yards for saying the magic word? That's the question.
Walkenhorst is still got his headset off down here.
Yep, sideline warning.
Yep, sideline warning against PG, and now we're going to have a timeout by PG as Walkenhorst still barking at the line judge down here.
Well, he's asking for an explanation from the white hat. He wants to talk to him, and he's not getting much of a response. All right, here we go.
No. He isn't going to get much of a response, but American Fork seemingly in control of this one. They're up 23-8 late in the game. 6 minutes and 18 seconds left here in the fourth quarter. Motions were starting to run a little bit high here in a 15-point game. Alexander Tibble alongside Jake Hatch. As American Fork looking for the knockout punch here, up by 15 points with 6 minutes to go. Dean comes in motion, and I think we're going to have another unsportsmanlike conduct warning. And again, it was a PG coach that said it, so that results in a penalty, and that's going to result in a 5-yard walk-off for a first down, and that's another.
That's half the distance.
That's actually, yeah,
15
excuse
yards.
me, yeah, that's sportsmanlike conduct, so that's.
Sportsmanlike against the Vikings.
So things starting to unravel here for Taylor Walkenhorst's crew as the frustration beginning to boil over here late in this one. Take nothing away from PG tonight, though. They battled hard all the way to the end.
Correct.
Let's not take away from what the Vikings have done here tonight, as Gaisford's going to throw wide open and into the end zone. Making the catch for the touchdown is David Dean.
Yeah, that was a mix-up in coverage there, obviously by the Pleasant Grove defense there, and Dean Renz all alone down the sideline. Easy pitch and catch for the touchdown.
And so that is Gaisford's third touchdown pass of the evening.
About as easy a touchdown pass as he's going to have.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I mean, As now some of the American Fork students sensing the end nigh, going to get an early start to try and beat the traffic out of here to Purple Turtle. Extra point by Connect is up, and it is good. And so American Fork now leads 30-8 over Pleasant Grove. One more time, I'd like to remind you that at the conclusion of tonight's game, Jake Hatch and I will be selecting our choice for the Heidemann and Associates Player of the Game. The player that went above and beyond the call for his team tonight. Brought to you by the full-service law firm that is committed to going above and beyond for you. Heidemann and Associates, contact them or visit them online today to schedule your free consultation. And also like to remind you, the Rewind Sports Network has a tasty matchup coming up for you next week on Thursday. Join Gavin Atkinson and I from Ernest F. Durbano Field in Roy for the 5A game of the year. Number 1 and undefeated Roy takes on number 3 and 1 loss, by the way, Bountiful Redhawks. I almost said the Bountiful Braves there, pardon me.
Used to be the Braves.
They used to be the Braves. They still yell Braves after every national anthem, but what do I know? Lewis Connect will kick off with 6:13 to go. And American Fork comfortably in front here tonight. Give you some updates on the scores we're watching from around the state as Connect boots this baby over the back line of the end, almost over the back line of the end zone, out the backyard, almost up to Highland. Bring you up to date on some scores we're watching from around the state here tonight. Hatch, here's a shocker for you. 52 seconds left in the third quarter. Skyridge leading 22nd ranked, nationally ranked Lone Peak 21-10.
All right, Falcons, look at that. Defense holding down that vaunted Lone Peak offense.
And in the fourth quarter, 6 minutes, 35 seconds to go. Roy 28, Viewmont 21.
Okay, there you go.
Matt Coma and Moose Bingham have the call on that one. If you want to watch that one, it is going to go down to the wire tonight in Viewmont. Again, potentially setting up a showdown of undefeated Roy and Bountiful next week as Schroeder throws on the run. That pass is caught. Most of the backups are in as Brennan Houghton gets the full takedown. Doesn't matter, it's a first down anyway.
Good catch by Houghton, but he ran himself right into quite a shot to the ribs there.
Yeah, and whoever said they play finesse football in Region 3 hasn't watched these teams play.
No. It's very, very physical.
Other scores we're watching just about to start the fourth quarter. Morgan all over Grantsville, 35-3.
That Morgan team is legit.
And how about this? Another shocker tonight, Hatch. Juan Diego, 28, Ogden 7.
Ooh.
That is a big-time surprise as we have a penalty flag down in the backfield. Looks like they're going to get JB and Na'a for clipping the head of the quarterback Schroeder. But yeah, how about that Juan Diego score over Ogden? Ogden's a 5-1 team, and they're pretty good.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, that's a shocker that Juan Diego's pummeling them like that.
Trying to see if Bountiful is playing tonight. I'm sure it's somewhere in here in the scoreboard. There it is. Third quarter, Bountiful running away against Box Elder, 43-21. So if all else holds, and if Roy is able to hold on in the last 6.5 minutes of that game, we could be set up for a number 1 versus number 2 showdown next week at Ernest F. Durbano Field.
That'll be a fun one for you guys.
But either way, Hatch, I mean, even if Roy comes into that game 7-1, it'll still be a tasty matchup to watch.
Correct, yes.
Personal foul was called on JB and Na'a for scraping the helmet of Nate Schroeder, the quarterback, sending him to the turf. So emotions running a little bit high here near the end of this one. Hopefully doesn't escalate to too much. We've already had a couple of sideline warnings to the coaches for getting in the ears of the officials. First and 10 now from the 45 with 5 minutes and 38 seconds left here in the game. Schroeder to throw. Pass is dropped and incomplete, intended for Brendan Houghton.
Yeah, tough drop there. Obviously, would have been a nice pickup there on first down, but you couldn't secure the catch going to the ground.
Some other scores we're watching from around the state tonight. Also want to bring you up to date on that Roy-Viewmont game now in the fourth quarter. 42-28 Roy.
Okay, so they're on their way.
It appears that Roy is on their way to an 8-0 start. I mean, Jake Hatch, I get it. I know Roy moved down a classification. I know they're not playing West anymore. But come on. They're 8-0.
Yeah,
and they're going to be number 1 in 5A heading into next week against Bountiful. I mean, you talk about the job that Chris Solomona has done at Roy in getting that team turned around in just a couple of years.
Yeah, and he's done a really good job. It's a program that's got a long history, obviously. You're well aware of that. But the fun part is they got athletes all over the field. That's the crazy part about it. Offense, defense, special teams, they can attack you in a myriad of ways. Robert Young is one of the more underrated players in this state. And he can do everything.
And just think about it. Last year just think about it. 2 years ago, Nate Carter and I were at Roy as Broadbent brings down Schroeder for a sack. As Schroeder is down again. Boy, is he taking a beating here tonight, but tough kid.
Yeah, he is.
Credit him for getting back up after some of these hits.
Yep, he has shown a lot of toughness in this one.
But getting back to what I was saying about Robert Young, Nate Carter and I, Hatch, were at Roy 2 years ago when Robert Young ran back a pick 6 on Isaiah Sue.
Okay.
So we got... So is it fair to say we maybe just got
an early look at him? Yeah.
Yes, we got just a taste of what Robert Young could bring to the table as Anderson sends this one away. Good spiral. Wilkinson almost bobbled it again, and he gets run over. I mean, he gets stuck right at the 29-yard line. I mean, and his own blocker almost ran into him again. But either way, that should be the end of proceedings here tonight, hopefully, with 5:12 to go and Vikings only with 1 timeout remaining. And you assume that we're going to see Manuela again, and we will. And you would expect Michael Hunsaker is going to probably put the ball in the belly of Madden Jensen from here on out. And he does on first down. Sweeps to the far side, tries to go down inbounds. He does. So he'll get the benefit of the doubt, and they'll start winding the clock with 5 minutes to go.
Yeah, heads up play by him there to just give his body up before he went out of bounds.
As we're hearing some movement behind us, the American Fork coaching staff about to break it down and head home on this Friday night. And you have to say a well-deserved and well-earned win for the Cavemen after so many tough losses, especially last week against Lone Peak, going up 21-0 and feeling that...
It sounds trite to say this, but they might be the best 3-5 team in the state. That's what they're going to, is their record-wise.
It sounds like hyperbole, but it really isn't, as Jensen gets another 2 yards.
Jensen.
And it just shows you, Hatch, just how difficult Region 3 really is. I mean, you have Lone Peak, you have Sky Ridge, Lehigh, all top 5 teams in the RPI this year. But we get to the playoffs, I mean, there's a possibility we could have a Sky Ridge American Fork playoff game, and that could mean a lot more in that in that bigger context.
It could. There's no doubt about that. That's the funny thing about how the RPI works, is you could have these region matchups end up being playoff matchups.
And then they could end up being upsets as throw in the middle, wide open, and making the catch. That's the first catch of the game.
We got another flag down here. It's going to be a hold probably on the on that wide receiver.
Yeah, probably going to be a holding, but it's the first catch of the game for the sophomore tight end Christian Hanshaw, as most of the reserves are in, so I would assume that this is coming back. The yardage you would think is probably enough to result in the first down because the ball or the flag is thrown at the 42.
Yeah, it's got plenty of yardage for a first down. You're right. It's just going to not necessarily be as big of a pickup as it was.
Right. So they will throw the flag against American Fork. And as expected, the yardage is enough for a first down, so it won't be as big of a pickup as Hatch said. But with 3:40 left, I don't think that really matters here at this point, as American Fork has a lot of their subs in at this point to try to hold down the fort and get them to 3-5 on the season. And again, well-deserved, well-earned win for head coach Aaron Beam. Play clock is being kept on the field as it has been all night. Handoff goes to Jensen up the middle, and he'll get into the stack, and he'll pick up about, I'll call about maybe 4 or 5 yards.
Nice search forward there to pick up that 5-yard pickup there. Good job by the offensive line as well.
Second down.
Next snap will take us under 3 minutes here tonight. As this game has been All-American Fork from the beginning. Took a little bit to find their footing, but scoring 4 of their 6 drives in the first half really was the difference. 2nd and 5 here from the 48-yard line of PG, as we're under 3 minutes to go here in the fourth. Like I said, though, take nothing away from the Pleasant Grove Vikings. They battled hard all the way to the end, as we have another penalty flag down in the defensive backfield as Jensen is brought down.
Yeah. For the lineman motoring downfield, I think he just grabbed the hold of the guy's jersey. He's going to get dinged for 10 yards as a result. Just what we needed as we're trying to see this game out is more laundry on the field.
Yeah. I mean, especially with emotions running a little bit high on the field right now. That's the last thing we want to see is anybody getting hurt.
A personal foul.
And actually, it's a personal foul and necessary roughness, so they did flat. Yeah, that's a big penalty.
Yep.
And it's a dead ball foul, so it will be 3rd down. No confusion this time.
Correct.
Personal foul.
So Pleasant Grove will get at least one more possession here tonight. Down 22 points.
Well, should get another possession.
Should get one more possession, but the next snaps are going to take us under 2.5 minutes. Or next snaps are going to take us under 1.5 minutes. And again, more confusion. It was not a dead ball foul. It was a live ball foul, so it's 2nd down. I think everybody just wants to go home.
Yeah, a lot of confusion here.
I think everybody just wants to go home. Whatever it is. I bet you we're going to have another discussion here if it's 3rd or 4th down here after this play. Just saying. Anyway, Manuela from the shotgun now. Jensen to his right. You suspect it's going to be a run, and it is a run, and Jensen is going to pick up close to about maybe 7 or 8 yards, close to 10, as he's brought down quickly at the 44-yard line, and the next snap will take us under 2 minutes. Again, no 2-minute warning in any high school football except in the state of Texas.
I just learned something. I didn't know that Texas had a 2-minute warning.
I didn't even know they had a 2-minute warning either, honestly.
Okay.
But of course, in college football, they call it the 2-minute timeout. But it'd be so much easier for everybody if they just call it the 2-minute warning.
Stupidest thing I've heard. Just call it the 2-minute warning.
That's because that's what it is.
It is.
It is the 2-minute warning. 3rd down and 13 from the 44. As American Fork just going to let this clock drain here to oblivion. Again, play clocks are being kept on the field. And now Aaron Beam is just going to take a timeout with 1:31 to go. And it'll be a reminder to us and all of you at home that at the conclusion of this game, coming up in a few minutes, Hatch and I will have our selection for the Heidemann and Associates player of the game, the player that went above and beyond the call for his team tonight. I'd like to thank Heidemann and Associates for their sponsorship of tonight's game and their continuing sponsorship of Utah high school football on KSL Sports Rewind. American Fork scored on their first drive of the game in just 5 plays. Cash Tayese caught the first of his 2 touchdowns early on in the game. And then American Fork gave up the safety deep in their own territory, but were able to survive the free kick situation. And ever since then, it has been mostly all American Fork.
Yeah.
But like we said, Hatch, take nothing away from PG. I mean, Pleasant Grove has battled all the way tooth and nail to the end. And that's something I think Taylor Walkenhorst is going to look at his boys in the locker room and say, hey, we can build off of that.
Yeah, absolutely. He's going to be preaching to his guys, hey, we hung tough in this one, let's keep fighting.
91 seconds to go. Next snap will take us under a minute as Manuela will just take it and just try to eat it. There's a guy who's not giving up. Maddox Webb, what a night he's had. A fumble recovery and an interception. And now a tackle for loss on his card. As the Cavemen are just going to let this run under 1 minute to go. And Pleasant Grove will indeed get one more possession out of this football game here tonight. Just wonder what kind of drive they're going to have here, as we're under 1 minute now to go. And Aaron Beam's going to take this all the way down to the end of the play clock that's just being kept on the field.
Yeah, I'm actually stunned that Pleasant Grove doesn't have play clocks.
Well, they were here earlier. I don't know where they went. That's the problem.
Maybe they just weren't functioning.
They were functioning, which was the funny part about it, as now Beam calls a timeout with 43 seconds left here in the game. Once again, Gavin Atkinson and I will be at Roy and Ernest F. Durbano Field.
Is that Thursday night, right?
Yes, a Thursday night game between the Roy Royals and the Viewmont Vikings. What a game
that's the game tonight. You guys have Viewmont. You guys have Roy and Bountiful.
Roy and Bountiful next week.
Yeah, it's Roy and Viewmont tonight.
Yes, Roy and Viewmont right now. Roy leading Viewmont 42-28 with 101 seconds left on the fourth quarter. So you'd expect that they're going to go on to win that one. And Bountiful just taking Box Elder apart right now, 50-21 late in that one. So it appears that we are set up for some showdown next week on the Rewind Sports Network. Here are the final 43 seconds left to go off the clock here tonight at PG. This will be the fourth punt of the game for Prestwich. And he gets it away, a line drive punt, right, backing up, takes it on the 19. Gets a couple of blocks, hits the seam at the 30, cuts near side, gets another block. Penalty flag goes down as he gets chopped down close to midfield. And we have a penalty flag down at the 33-yard line, and where the Hankies toss hatch, I suspect this is going to be a block in the back.
Yeah, block in the back,
against
hold
Spencer
some of that variety.
Yep.
By the way, give credit to Wright. That was quite a burst. That acceleration to ground that edge, he was off like a rock. That was a great return, even though the penalty's going to negate most of it.
Be the 8th penalty of the night on Pleasant Grove. American Fork is at 6 called against them.
Block in the back,
Yep, and it's block in the back against Spencer Hafolka, so
The Vikings.
you expect where the score line is and where the clock is. That's probably not going to mean a whole lot in the grand scheme of things, as we're playing the final 30 seconds here tonight. Double wide receivers either side for the quarterback, Nate Schroeder. He'll just hand it off. And nowhere to go for the running back. He's brought down after a pickup of maybe 3 after getting the full takedown, and that's going to take us to the finish line tonight here at Pleasant Grove. Nobody's going to run another play. Teams are moving in the middle of the field.
Donovan Delaney.
It was Donovan Delaney who had the last carry and the last say of tonight's game. And the American Fork Cavemen finally get off the schneid with a great win here tonight.